O Lord, bless this stream. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, let there be no audio problems. Maybe that's why I don't pray for the Lord to protect my OBS from the demons of tech. So there you go. Sound okay though? Got your coffee. Good morning. This good bright Friday, bright week. Good to see everybody. And if, God forbid, the audio goes mute, I'll just close down the OBS and restart it. I've switched back over to OBS rather than Streamlabs OBS because when I shut down the Streamlabs OBS, it shuts down this. I have to redo a new stream each time, and one of the last times that we're doing that is we must have done it like five or six times, and it was just getting ridiculous. So if this error occurs, and I think I might have been able to fix it. I've been going through troubleshooting. It's not boomer tech. It's actually really complicated. Even people who are pretty savvy at tech have not been able to figure this out. It looks like it's an interface issue, and I've had to kind of go through and do several stuff, kind of like checklist. And so the last time that I did it, the last stream that I did was playing music for all y'all. There were no problems, so hopefully it's fixed. The other issue that I'll have to do is there's another interface issue where it's blocking. Let's see. Like if I try to do a StreamYards like that or Zoom, see that? And there's a browser capture thing. And if I had a Zoom meeting up like this with the camera, on the browser, the camera's open, and then the OBS just shows this. Like, something's blocking the OBS from actually picking up. It gets the web page as if there's no camera on there. So, that's my, excuse me, that's my next task to figure out. But not even tech nerds have been able to figure this out. Snakefoot's $5 in the area, 3 hours from you. Oh. Well, in Kalispell, imagine, or you're in Billings. You could write, Father Ephraim at the monastery, in Harrison to see, if you can stop by and visit. I'd suggest that. But it depends where you are. 3 hours from here is typically either Kalispell or south. What do you? 3 hours south is Yellowstone. Well, if you're in Yellowstone, that's the only thing I can think that's 3 hours south of here. I just saw the ski report. All the ski resorts have closed except for Big Sky. So you could go to and they have 64 inches and just got 4 inches of snow last night. But yeah, there things to do, events. I mean, there's plenty to do in Bozeman, but I don't know. I music, or I don't know what. Oh, you're in South Idaho. South Idaho is about 7, 8 hours from here. That's actually really far. It takes. I broke my back in Tahoe when I was 21 years old at Kirkwood. But I've skied a lot of Tahoe. Sierra Tahoe, uh, Kirkwood. Um, I'll always call it Squaw Valley. I can't believe they renamed, Heavenly. um, what were some of the other resorts that I skied there? But yeah, I like Tahoe. Oh, you're in Yellowstone, yeah. Got it. I thought I saw somebody said Idaho. Anyways, we have a bunch of people coming from Boise, Cadwell area. Um, yeah, I'm gonna look on the map. Now you got me curious. I love maps. Ever since I was a child, like I used to actually get. This is before the internet. Internet came out, where people actually probably had somewhat access to it when I was in high school. So uh, we use Thompson's maps, street maps, and then I had like these encyclopedia books of like map, and I would actually trace out when I was a kid. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Uh, States and countries and stuff on maps and stuff, so I really like that. But let's see. Idaho Falls. I was just curious how far Idaho Falls to Helena is. And Helena is an hour from Butte. I bet it's 4.5 hours. 4 hours. And as you said, Butte. Let's see what it is to Butte. Three hours, you're right. 3 hours to. So that's probably one of the closest, unless you're coming. People who live in Coeur d'Alene. How far is Coeur d'Alene from Coeur d'Alene? Coeur d'Alene might actually be the closest. No, 4 hours to Butte. And Coeur d'Alene. Helena is 4 hours. So, you know what? Idaho Falls might be the closest. Might be right. But if you went to Kalispell from Coeur d'Alene, I bet that's 3 hours. Yep, 3 hours and 25 minutes. Well, anyways, actually, we just figured it out. Idaho Falls for the winter is the closest city to the cities in Montana. Dave, if you need a doctor, contact I know somebody who knows somebody. Joshua, are you in the stream? Good. Um. All right. What am I doing with myself here? We've got news to cover. News. Some people at Porticello Parish are almost. Oh yeah, forgot about Porticello. Shall we? You haven't purchased your tickets to MontaNika. Make sure you do. There's still a good amount of left, but it's going pretty fast. So, and the VIPs are almost all sold out. All right. Let's see. There's Mikhail sending me messages. Oh. Let's look at. I'd left this up. Found this yesterday. For those of you who surf. What was I doing in 2000? Well, I lived in Southern California here. This is Newport Harbor, Little Corona right here on the left. On the other side of this jetty here, it would be the wedge. It rarely breaks in here. So, and I heard these waves are awesome when it does break. Oh, I lost it. Oh, here's a good. This is something I wanted to cover. in the chat. How long was it? Yeah. All right, I'm back. Okay, I'll do it again. All right, thanks, brother. Bye. My tech guy. Um, that was actually the person that built my computer. He's a parishioner. So I'm gonna have to redo it all. It's not muted. It's an interface problem between the OBS and the computer. It could be a driver. That was tech support. So there's nothing I can do other than close down the program and restart it. And I don't get it. The 2 nights ago when I was playing the music, it was fine. I didn't have any problems. And thanks for the $5 unmute fallacy. So anyways, Joshua, thank you for the call. Thanks for tech support. Yeah, he's gonna come and work on the computer when he gets back. All right. Well, let's miss so much good stuff. All right. The Holy Eparchal Synod of the Archdiocese in Australia, you reckon? That's the Greeks concluded a decisive move to curb growing trend of clergy acting as social media influencers. Okay, so when I went mute, what I was actually saying is that how many social media influencers are in Australia as clergy? The only one that I can think of is Father Cosmas. He is not. Father Cosmas is Rokor. So, they're Greek. Does anybody have an idea? What are these bishops talking about? Can anybody help me out? Did anybody see this article, by the way? I would have titled this COVID Mason bishops have ruled that obviously the biggest problem Orthodoxy in Australia is not closing down your churches over a scam, isn't forcing you to take poison shots to become iconoclast, put a mask on, be a Mason, a humanist. It's obviously clergy, God forbid, clergy give edifying advice and homilies online. Greeks for the win. Biggest win of the week. Here we go. But what clergy member in the Greek Archdiocese of Australia is a social quote media influencer? That's the question for today. What are they even talking about? Now, I have some theories behind this. But there you go. That's... But what say you? That's one news for today. And then I'll talk a little bit about that, but... Yeah, good one. I think it is I think you're on to something there. Father Ron, Father Bless, Blessed Holy Friday. I mean, Bright Friday. Holy Friday. Do you know what's weird about your question? In here, I'm new to Orthodox. Should I read the Orthodox study Bible first? What's weird? Okay, I have my Orthodox study Bible right here. I'm just gonna show you. I just find it odd that. Okay, so here's my Orthodox study Bible. Now it's on a box of some sort. Now if we open, I wonder what's in this box. Oh, weird. A History of Philosophy by Frederick Copplestone. Well, that's odd. That's odd that you'd ask that question. I want to give a shout out to, I have done it on another stream, one of my parishioners, Sarah Otteson, who is our parish president's wife. God bless her. We love her. She actually donated and gave me all of those books and another box in here too. I have my bookshelf's full. I'm gonna have to start building new bookshelves throughout the apartment. I have tons of boxes. Anyways, I just found it interesting that out of the two things that you asked, literally right there. My wife had a good point. They don't even have rights in Australia. I mean, Australia is literally like a totalitarian hellhole. Like who cares what Greek bishops say and I go back to bishops say. Somebody in here says, we must listen to our bishops. They're appointed by Christ. Yes. But those aren't my bishops. And as somebody points out, which ones though? First of all, why this is addressing, it isn't addressing laity. If you look at the article, the Synod will circulate a formal encyclical to clergy and monastics. It has nothing to do with laity. So listen to, that's not addressed to you. Why do you need to listen to? Why do you need to listen to bishops addressing their clergy in a separate jurisdiction and a place that we know doesn't even exist? Like, that's what why aren't we talking about that? We all know Australia doesn't exist. Like, and this is a piece of news article. I mean, obviously this is fake. Mirren, check now, $5. Yes, I do think It is an attack on Bishop Emilianos, who is a wonderful bishop. Uh, Wait, Bishop Emilianos. I thought he left. Here's another. Let's cover this. Okay, here we go. I think you're on. I think you're on. I think there's two things, but I think you're on to something right there. Let's. Says here on February 10th, the Holy Synod Ecumenical Patriarch described his grace as retired and issued an ecclesial penalty of 6 months suspension from. Well, that's odd. If you're retired, how are you suspended? Well, I'm not an expert in canon law, but it seems weird. Bishop Jonas claims he found out about the decision from a friend who saw What a joke. We're going to issue. Oh, by the way, you're retired and you have a 6-month suspension from all. First of all, penalty for what? If you're disciplined, you actually have to draw up. There has to actually be a violation, stated a violation canons. Number two, it is odd. Like, well, we just issued it, but it never went public. We never sent it to you. We had to find out through a friend through social media. Okay, so the decree does state, because of the canonical offenses into which they had fallen, the following ecclesial penalties were imposed. On the one hand, upon Bishop Emilianos, the ecclesial penalty of 6 months suspension from all sacred services. On the other hand, upon Deacon Christos Karafotius, a deposition from the high ministry of the priesthood and return to his... Oh, dang, dude, that's really sad. What are the canonical charges, though? I mean, you can say that. Well, it was canonical offenses. What were the canonical offenses? Like, does anybody know what? May not matter because, as it says here, Deacon Christophoros, he had been accepted into ROCOR, Diocese of Chicago. So it really doesn't matter if they... you know what it reminds me of? Like, people dating and it's like, the girlfriend's like, I break up with you. I have to break up with you. And the boyfriend says, no, I actually broke up with you. It's like, retrospectively, so he's been received into ROCOR. Oh no, you're defrocked. Well, if he's under ROCOR, or if you're under a bishop, like a valid bishop, it doesn't matter what. I mean, isn't that the great thing about our decentralized nature and also is because of politics and stuff like that? This is really kind of a checks and balances. But I had thought Bishop Emilianos had left and come under... Let's see if it says. So is he technically still... Really interesting article here. Bishop Milan is currently residing in the United States to celebrate liturgy at the OCA Cathedral of Dallas. And that's where Bishop Gerasim is. Big shout out to His Grace Bishop Gerasim. Love him. Friend of mine, known him for a long time. As well as giving spiritual talks at various parishes, right? I think he's been working with Father Moses McPherson. UJ, before the decision of the Synod, was there communication with Your Grace about what the supposed charges, accusations? No, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, I've seen this happen before. Uncanonical. You can't just state, like, there actually has to be. This is a way I've seen other clergy smeared. Oh, they're acting uncanonically. Oh, that's a serious charge. Like, what exactly? You got to nail them on the details. Got to get somebody on the details of what specifically was the canonical violation. And, I mean, there's procedures in a synod, right? Like, how is it supposed to be binding if it was kept private and none of this was issued to the clergy or bishop? You received no correspondence whatsoever, but a decision about the case has been made. Yes. How's your education in the United States been going? I understand you were studying at Dallas Baptist. What are you studying? Okay, so he goes on to here to talk about his education. You have been welcomed to several parishes here in America, both to celebrate the Divine Liturgy, to take talk, spiritual talk, offer spiritual talks. Is it possible for this to continue? All the Patriarch managed to do is take away more or less 6 divine liturgies. I would have celebrated the OCA Cathedral in the next 6 months. I can live with that. They can't stop me from talking about God. That's a great point. Even if they were to canonically and unethically defrock me in a way that they punish me. However, I could write books about them with things I know. I love it. There's always stuff that we know. Yep, I love it. What a great thing. Like, you think these, if you're going to make a move, I mean, many of us clergy know things and have dirt on. And His good grace here basically calling him, but like, that's fine. You want to do that? They're like, I'm just going to bring out your skeletons. Do you have any plans to appeal a decision or ask for fear before a spiritual? Not interested. I want to waste. Yeah, fly all the way out to. Oh, I didn't realize that. Father Deacon Seraphim. Is he at, he probably is at Bishop Gerasim's parish. And then I'd mentioned here. Okay, so good call on that, I think. I think I have a second thought with respect to that. Hush Tones 499. We're talking about the Greek Synod in Australia issuing a warning to curb social media influencers. And what I couldn't figure out, I'm like, these social media influencers that are clergy social media influencers. I'm like, I only knew Father Cosmos is the only one that came to mind, and he's Rocor. And then somebody had mentioned in here is probably regarding Bishop Emilianos. And their attacks on him, and I think that's right. Also, I think it's a PR stunt. So, I had read here that an Orthodox Christian commenting on this, who I actually know in person, had said, listen to your bishops. And I made a comment, that doesn't make any sense because this isn't issued to laity. It's nothing to listen to, right? Furthermore, they're not our bishops. Unless you're living in Australia and you're Greek and you're clergy, this doesn't apply to you. But it's made public, interesting enough. Why? To muddy and dirty the waters. Okay. These are the COVID Masonic, possibly CIA-sponsored bishops that force to shut down liturgy and Pascha, forced you to take poison shots and kill yourself, to become an iconoclast and put a mask on your face and not venerate icons. And we're saying, well, here they're obviously leading us into rightly dividing the word of truth, right? So yes and no, okay. But what I said is, thank God for our decentralized autocephalous. And even the issue with Bishop Emilianos. The fact is that we're a human divine institution. We have issues, like not gonna dogmatically in the Kataholos. It's the truth, the fullness of truth, once delivered for all to the saints, and it's infallible, right? And it's God's hospital by which he heals and saves us. But we're all sinners. There's problems. Nobody should be irrationally idealistic about. Otherwise, you'd be like, well, I thought there were no problems in the Orthodox Church, and everybody was sinless. And sorry to tell you, when you find out that's not the case, and then you leave the church. It's like when I tell people, young people getting married, I've heard, I start with this, don't ever think that marriage is here to make you happy. How many times have you heard people say, get a divorce? Well, I wasn't happy. They weren't giving, my husband or wife wasn't giving me what I want. It's like, well, who told? Well, there was the problem. Whoever told you marriage was supposed to make you happy. And that involved the other person giving you what you want. I mean mine, right? Like, they're obviously, you were doomed to failure. Marriage is a martyrdom. What greater love is this than a man lay down his life for his friend? You lay down your life. So, no wonder it didn't work. You were saying, what does my spouse give me? What do I get out of this deal? I mean, that's just doomed to failure. You humble yourself and you lay down your life for your wife, and the wife serves the husband. Like, do you see? And it's a struggle. It's really hard. Now, there's moments of joy, but I would never say, well, marriage is supposed to be there to make you happy. It's there to save you. We learn obedience and humility in marriage. So, if somebody, that's why I set this down, like, let me just get it, like, it's going to be hard. You're not, right? Marriage is not here to make you happy. It's here to save you. And the great thing is, life's, because life's hard, you now have a partner. The two shall become one in flesh, such that you get to be co-strugglers together. And you save each other. If we started off all marriages like that would be great. So likewise, the Orthodox Church, it's a divine human institution There's sinners in the church, just to let you know, and there's been problems. Dogmatically, yes, it is the Word of God, the fullness of truth. But don't be so naive to think there's not problems. But we have a system, the best system, that when problems do happen, how do we deal with it? Well, we're decentralized. We're autocephalous. So here's a perfect example. Thank God. You know, you've got a COVID, especially as lady, you have even more. Now, first of all, you should not be, because this had come up with the PSA stuff. No laity should be making decisions by themselves. We need to all be obedient to somebody. Yes, priests and bishops have said heretical stuff before. It is not your duty, and you don't have the authority of yourself to go, well, this is wrong, and this bishop or priest is a heretic. Even if it's true. You have to be under somebody and guided in that decision. So, we're not Protestants. We don't make these decisions. You have a spiritual father or a priest that's like, this is a problem. Now, the great thing about being laity is, if you have a COVID bishop, iconoclast bishop, telling you to kill yourself by taking poison jabs, you're free to go to another bishop. You don't have to get a release. You're not clergy. You're not bound to the... and isn't that wonderful that we have that actual decentralized system, unlike papism, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Does that make sense? Edel Token 999, Christ is risen, indeed he has risen. Thanks for the content. Any introduction books you'd recommend? Philosophy of science and its limitations. This is one of the best books here. What is this thing called? Science. I have some other ones. They're much more advanced. I don't know why my Mao book is up. I'm studying Mao. Oh! Exposed. Yes. I am thoroughly versed in Marxist literature. That's what how can you form a critique if you don't know what it is you're critiquing? Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and upon the tomb bestowing life. If I was a Russian deacon, that's how I would. Thank you. Yeah, some of the other ones are more advanced. I'm trying to remember, this is a good one too. It's not as advanced as the current cover. This one's good too. A historical anthology, so it's just an anthology of different articles there. The current cover is probably too advanced for most people to work through. But I think this is one of the best introductions. I teach a class. Yeah, I mean, there were bishops that came after Father Peter. Anyways. Says our priest told the catechism not to listen to people online. I mean, he's the priest, you know. Maybe he has good reasons for that. You'd be like, even Deacon Ananias, though? I mean, you couldn't possibly mean Deacon Ananias. FDA. The FDA recommends that you should... It's just unrealistic too. It's like everyone should just get offline. Like, yeah, that would be wonderful. That's not gonna happen. Um, I remember this came up when I was younger. There's so much bad philosophy out there. How do we combat it? Well, obviously, we just got to shut down any talk about philosophy. You combat bad philosophy with good philosophy. And I think that's what we're trying to do. My thoughts are, obviously, I can't think of any clergy that have social media that I have problems with, that are doing. Now, I've seen clergy maybe post stuff on Facebook and X as problem, but they're not what they would call, have their own channels and stuff like that. So I think it's great that clergy's on there. I don't like laity, Orthodox laity on. I wish that actually all of the laity would be forced into camps where they could not use the internet, and they had to plow fields. And I don't know, I'm joking. I wish that actually was done. But I mean, the difficulty is that laity are not under the same kind of obedience that clergy are. And so my recommendation has always been, if you're Orthodox, whether your channel is specifically dealing with theology or not, you should officially come under something like Patristic Faith, Patristic Nectar, even, I don't even care, like AFR, for crying out loud. I don't think it's even enough that, I got a blessing from my priest. First of all, that blessing has to be a Episcopal blessing. Priest does not have the authority in themselves to be like, yeah, you can do, which is one of the problems with what the PSA stuff was going on. All these people were saying, my priest has given me a blessing to teach. It's like, first of all, I think you're lying. There's no way that I can't imagine any priest would be like, I'm going to let a 17-year-old whose chrism hasn't even dried yet officially teach. I don't believe it. Second of all, your priest doesn't have the authority to do that. The bishop does. So, where's the letter? Produce the letter. So, yes, I think that going forward, because there's so much problems with this, it would be ideal that if you are laity, that you you come officially under a sanctioned kind of Orthodox social media. That's the way to be that's how you can be like, well, they're plugged in. There's accountability. That's why, I put together on Patristic Faith a clergy advisory board. It's not the deacon who runs it. I'm not the authority. I defer to higher ups. There's a whole group, more seasoned and wiser priests who are higher up than me that make decisions, so that if somebody's connected to Patristic Faith, like Jay, or anybody publishes articles, you're accountable. Like, the priest could call you up and be like, you know what? You're wrong. You need to. But I do not advocate, I do not like, even if, there's people that I'm friendly with and I be friends, I don't like that people that are Orthodox have their own, that aren't officially plugged in. Because it just weakens, the accountability to, and it weakens our arguments against, how do we deal with, these people like the PSA goblins and you Latinizers and stuff like that. I think that's the way forward. But it's really difficult to do, because there's a freedom that parishioners have. your priest could say, absolutely not, you can't do social media, or if you do, you need to come under the officially the church's website or an official Orthodox. But you could just leave. You could just go to another. That's why it's so hard to. The bishops could send out a letter, right? A synodal letter banning any laity, Orthodox laity, from doing social media that's not officially attached. But what's the problem with that? Administratively, so spiritually they could just be like advice, but administratively you could just be like, well, I'm going to under another bishop. So I don't really know practically how this has worked out, other than kind of talking more about encouraging. If social media, I think you should officially come under, and there should be a level of accountability. Does that make sense? So, I mean, those are all good things, though, but it presents challenges of how to pastorally and practically deal with these issues. If that. Could you define the terms presbyter, deacon? Define them and the differences? Do you mean the terms or what the offices actually are? I don't understand the question. The etymology or what they are in the Orthodox, what those offices are? Oh, dude. I should never open up my school emails. Always some student complaining about something. I'm so sorry. I was doing my homework for my stupid... What's an A&P class? With my group, and I've forgotten to do the quiz 3. Could it open it up again? Because you made a mistake. I don't know. Can I? It's the worst person being like professor dealing with emails. Let me just wrap up that last conversation about the article we're reading. Like I said, I can't think of anybody, a priest that actually is a quote-unquote social media influencer. Father Josiah, Father Spirit and Bailey, any of those that I see problematic. Like, I like all their stuff. That's great. I think there's people that don't like that. So, I think that's the second part of this too. It's a way to, it's a kind of a smear campaign. It's like an underhanded jab to, well, the real problem in the church are people like Father Josiah and Father Spirit and Bailey. But the Greek Archdiocese of Australia has no authority over. All they can do is kind of slander and dirty the waters. So I think, they want public control, especially because some of these clergy were outspoken about COVID. That was the coup. That was the apocalypse, the great revealing. Separated the sheep from the wolves, the wheat from the chaff. I mean, I know that all my problems and hate and smear campaigns began with me speaking out. Nobody ever bothered me until I spoke out about, then, now I'm the big nasty deacon for saying something was wrong when it was. And all the priesthood are still suffering the consequences of that. So, it's a crazy world. God knows what we're going into. I think it's control issue. It's not about truth. And yeah, thank God for Father Ron, the nastiest clergy influencer I've ever met. That's just that. You know what the real problem? But right, Father Ron, I'm like, I haven't seen, whether it's you or Father Josiah or Father Spirit and Bailey, or like, I'm like, I love everything all of you are doing. Like, it's great that, like I said, yeah, it would probably be if we could go back in time and be like, hey, there's this thing that's going to come out called the internet. And here's the pros and cons. Should we release it? I'm kind of on the fence, but I'd probably say, like, you're probably not. Cat's out of the bag, okay? What? That's the world we live in. And like I said, when I was younger and somebody had said, was kind of anti-philosophy because look at the academy, the university, look how much bad philosophy is. The solution to bad philosophy is good philosophy. The solution to, now that the cat's out of the bad internet and insano stuff online is get the clergy in there. I mean, they are the people that should be out there. They're the ones by their ordination that have the blessing to teach. Yeah, there's no going back. So what? So you could get obsessed with, it's not about the truth, it's about control. We've seen that among, bishops. That's kind of looks like what's going on in Australia. So what can you do? You slander. You could dirty the waters. I think that refresh. It's not unmute. If you say unmute one more time, you're going to be banned from this. The word, from now on, okay, we're making an agreement. We're having a synodal, and we're going to release an encyclical letter. The word now is, unmute is a heretical word that heretics use. The word now is refresh. Where's my... Yeah, here we go. Refresh. So, refresh. Father. You like that? Tell me to mute instead. Okay, do we agree? It seemed good to us in the Holy Spirit that the word now that we use is refresh. All in favor? Say aye. Amen. May be blessed. Okay, that's a pretty good topic. But I wanted to know, is that true? Hey, Father Ron, can you tell me, somebody had said that in there, Bishop Irene Darbajevic, oh, he's a Serbian bishop. I better not comment on that then. Anyway, somebody said that that the WikiLeaks came out and he has ties to the CIA. He was a CIA informant. I don't know. But somebody had mentioned that in the... I'm not gonna read through these comments. But anyway, some people were talking about like Father Josiah Trenum was one of the greatest influencers for me discovering Orthodoxy. That's news. Let's use that as a to go into the news about Father Josiah Trenum, a dear friend of mine. God grant you many years. God grant you many years. God grant you many, many, many years. A rigged vote. Father Josiah went on Tucker Carlson recently again. It's kind of cool. I mean, how cool would it be if Tucker converted to Orthodoxy? Normally, I think that, just give a caveat about Tucker. I really liked the stuff that he said and that he got off of Fox News and kind of did his own thing. But I don't understand this. I got to come up with a term, but it's a tendency to. It's an overreaction. Aristotle says that when somebody bends the stick too far, almost always they never bend it back to the middle, but they overreact. So the tribe, the tiny hats, right? That, I mean, all this stuff was kind of shoved down our throats growing up, and then, you know, it's like you start to find out stuff, just like, I don't know, what was your first kind of waking up of something that you believed through the legacy CIA sponsored media to be true, and then you found out, oh, they were lying? Was it 9/11? Was it the Vietnam War? Was it the WMDs? Whatever your first experience with that. The problem is, once you realize that I've been lied to and I can't trust the institutions that I actually trusted in, that told me we originally went to the moon in tinfoil, Reynolds wrap through the Van Allen radiation belt and made a cellular phone call and just happened to have a cameraman filming it all beforehand on the moon. It just conveniently just lost all the technology. It's really easy to then be like, it's all fake and gray. And now you believe in flat earth and lizard people and ice walls and, I don't know, like, I guess a lot of the alien lore too, like the Palladians are here to save the human race. I don't know, whatever the craziest conspiracy theories that. So there's an overreaction. And one of the ones is, yeah, many of you probably found out stuff about tiny hat folks that I did not know. I was lied to. And then what do? You overreact and you become a Candace Owens. Perfect example. Hushtones 999, the whole precipice of the awakening from NPC, Normie good phrase. Was the entire Russiagate, another one, good one. Narrative falling apart. You're about 19. Continue to be normie until the George Floyd riots, 9/11 too. Yeah. All right. Now all of a sudden, well, I found out some true stuff about, they were lying to us about the tiny hat people or whatever. And now I believe in Candace Owens' mythology time machines that go back. Like, have you heard some of the crazy stuff that... And I've warned young people about this. There was like, he's our guy. All you people fell for Brother Nathaniel because he was calling out the tiny hat people as a tiny hat person, right? And I told him, like, you walk straight into hell because somebody's calling out the Jews. Like, what does the matter with you people? But I was based on burning. You've seen the meme. What's another overreaction? And I'm telling you, there's intelligence agencies behind this. It's not that just people are this is organic, just people messing up and overreacting. I'm telling you that there's something going on here, that intelligence agencies and groups are using this stuff and using the algorithms. But now all of a sudden, you see the Zoomers. I saw this happen. Oh, dude, Muslims are based. And it's like, now you're siding with Islam. Do you see the false dialectics? It's either the Jews or like, that's the dialectic. They're all like, they're both, right? Talmudic rabbinicalism and Islam are both bad. Zionism's bad, right? And all you people so stupid. Hamas and all these ISIS and groups are just proxies of Israel and CIA. Like, we'll go to because Israel's bad. Like, I'm siding with their proxies. How stupid. Remind me never to put any of you people who are saying that kind of stuff in any position of authority or power to do anything. Like, obviously you're retarded and emotionally and spiritually and intellectually and can't make decisions for yourself. And are going to have to be cared for in a home for retarded people. Why am I saying all this? Why am I going on a rant? Now we've got Tucker, right, wakes up to Zionism and the evils of Zionism. We all know that. And now the Muslims are good. So, Tucker, no. Liked a lot of stuff that you said, but like, you went too far there. 1 second. Somebody's saying, let me see if there's any super chats that came in Streamlabs that I haven't read yet. We have Dave the Philippian, $10. Snakefoot, $5. We read that. Byzantine Big Boss said the unmute fallacy, $5. Miriam Chuck now is the one that gave $5 and nailed it, saying this is probably about Bishop Emilianus. That is correct. Hush Tones, $4.99. Blessed Holy Week. Glad to see you streaming. Edel Token, $9.99. Christ has risen. Indeed, he has risen. Asked about philosophy of science books. Another dumb meme bro, $9.99. Christ has risen from the dead. We sang that. Thank you so much. Hush Tones, $9.99. The whole precipice of the waking from NPC Normidome was the entire Russia. Okay, good. Got them all. Thank you. Thank you. And let me see if there's any YouTube. Hush Tones, another. Okay, I read them all. So those are. Oh, Hush Tones also $4.99. What are we talking about? That's it. Those are all the
You can't be serious, Tucker. You can't seriously be saying Islam is based oh, but they love Jesus. No, they don't. Here's the other thing I don't get too. Like, somebody says something, you just believe them. Well, they said that. And this is gonna get into, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. By the way, so I've heard this. So you know what I've asked people? Okay. All of you people are so obsessed with hating the Talmudists that you're blinded. And they were like, somebody had said that too. Yeah, but the enemy of my enemy, like I join up with to combat the Talmudists and Zionism. Okay, but say you had another enemy, would you team up? Would you use that same principle, or are you a hypocrite? Would you team up with the Talmudists and the Zionists if you had a common enemy? Oh, no. Oh, well, then shut up. Like, I don't want to hear you talk anymore. And team up with what? The Zionists' proxies that work with the CIA. Like we all know that Jay talked about this yesterday. That this is all CIA, MI6 and Zionist, like all those Hamas and ISIS and what's the other group? Al-Qaeda. You're with us, you terrorist. You're with us, you terrorist. George Bush can get you. Now watch this golf swing right here. Oh. Just normie, dude. Like, I just don't understand. I can't believe Tucker fell for this. Yeah, the Muslims are not. Have you looked at Europe? You want to become friends with them? Oh, they're so cool because they said they love Jesus, which doesn't even have a reference to our Lord. Jesus could be your local gardener mowing your lawns, and we pronounce it Jesus. What are you talking about? If it's not the Son of God, eternally begotten of the Father, you're not talking about, you don't love the same person that we do. So shut up. I don't want to hear it. No more. Yeah, go look what happens when you let these people into your country. Europe's totally destroyed. This beautiful Western Europe gone because you let these goblins into your country. So come on, Tucker. Anyways, with that being said, that's my critique of Tucker. But it's cool that a lot of the other stuff that he said, and he brings on Father Josiah a couple days ago. Yeah, see, this is exactly. I have a brother in my parish. I think we're going to make a pan-European white coalition to fight Tiny. Don't. First of all, if you're under 30-year-old, you're not going to make any political decisions on anything, right? That Aristotle said people under 30. I think it was actually older. 30 was debates. Plato. We talked about that. I'm not listening. If you're under 30, unless you're some remarkable savant, an exception to the rule, you don't get to have a commentary on politics. I don't need to listen to you. Okay, but I think it was a good thing. Okay, so Tucker asked Father Josiah on talks about Zionism and how the evils of Zionism. It's true. And then what happens? Who can guess the news? What was the response? I actually opened my Twitter, and you know where it says like news? Usually it's like, what does it usually say on the... Who's Frank Hassel? Frank Hassel criticized Fish Tank Live Session 5 is dead after... So that's entertainment. Canary Mission video highlights similar anti-Israel statements by Fuentes. Oh, God forbid that you criticize Israel. And you know what? Like, my criticism of Fuentes, like, I definitely think there's some positive things about Fuentes. Now, his followers, the grubbers know, but Fuentes has talent, right? And obviously, I don't agree with everything, but like this smear campaign against it's obvious, right? So isn't that interesting how I could have nuance? I'm not a groiper. I had real issues with Fuentes. He has talent, and he said some really good things and called out. What's wrong with that? See how easy it is to do nuance? Yeah, I've never even seen Fish Tank. Like, I don't even know why that came on my... But what do you think the other news is on that? Okay, so it's related to Father Josiah and Tucker Carlson. Who can guess? Who's going to get the win? You're like my students in class. I ask a question and like, everybody just goes silent. And they're like... Yesterday I asked like a really easy question too. And I was just like, absolute silence. Like, it was like the easiest question ever. I'm trying to remember what. Or I'll literally highlight on the text on the screen of whatever text we're reading. I'm like, what's the answer? Right? And they're just like... All my students need to get on methylene blue. That's my solution too. And we're going to have... How awesome would that be if like we had coffee in class? Like you could just get... Yes! Hush Tones got it. That's the news. Our favorite seminarian, EW. Who loves me for some reason. He spends 24 hours a day just thinking about me all the time. It's amazing. Will not address clergy by their title. Does not believe in hierarchy. Like, I mean, how many things could we say that we've seen from this? Has slander and disrespect. But do you know, like, you could technically get defrocked for lying about... Oh, I heard him say the other day, like, I'm not in good standing and the bishops hate me. I'm like, do you know that, first of all, again, why does anybody believe anything anybody says online? Especially when it's like, you can go look any clergy up, and it literally has a directive. That's what's great about Orthodoxy, the transparency. If they're on the webpage, or if they're suspended, defrocked, etc. Meaning, it shows if they're in good standing or not. Like, it's a pretty easy thing to check. These people care? No. They just want to slander, and because they know people are stupid on the internet and will believe whatever you tell them. What are you talking about, the bishops? My bishops have always supported me. Bishop Maxim loves my work. We went to Greece together, and he even had me read. One of the professors going to make a paper in front of the whole conference on St. Maximus. Has blessed the conference. Like, Grace Bishop Max loves, like, so. Then where are you getting information? Anyways, it's obvious with this guy. I mean, God forbid. And I saw a photo of him, and it's clear the guy has sugar in his gas tank, right? Like, lighting the loafers. I mean, by the way, did you know that there's actually AI to 95% accuracy to look at your photo and tell if you are swinging the other way, shall we say? No, it shows audio's fine. You're not getting. I don't know, the mic and the audio's on. Normally I can see that when. Give a thumbs up or a message if you can hear. I mean, look. I'll try to find a photo. I was like, yeah, you ain't fooling anybody. By the way, you can actually tell if somebody is got sugar in their gas tank by their behavior. Actually, they're like often very passive, aggressive, vindictive. Like, there's certain behaviors that I don't even need to use the AI. Hey, sweetheart, can you send me that picture of him? Of EW that you showed me? I can't find it. We're all here waiting for it, so I'm looking on the search engine and I can't find anything. Isn't that always the case? Wow. Yeah, audio's fine. I can tell from, I know when my end goes out because in my audio mixer, like, it won't show anything. So that means it's from your end. All right, moving, let's see. So I wake up this morning and the news, today's news, you know, as you see on Twitter. So see here on the right. Jim Bob, what is the matter with you, dude? You are not allowed to stream when I get priority. Why? Because I'm clergy. That's why.
Dr. Steve Turley and Alex Jones, what are you doing? Streaming at the same time. So that comes up right there. We've got something about Paula White. Pentecostal Paula. There you go. That's a good one. Pentecostal Paula here. And so it pops up here. Ethan EW. We got to come up with a name for this guy. I don't even want to call him, because I actually like the name Ethan. I think Wayne's cool. That's my dad's middle name, and my brother's middle name too. So I feel like we should. Let's all do another synod today and come up with a name for him. Okay? What say you? Before I go on to cover this, I want all of you to come up with a name, and we'll have a synodal conciliar encyclical pronouncement. We'll produce an encyclical letter that says this is the new name. So they came up with hyphen girl, right? So we got to come up with a name. A good one. What did JB? He streams when I stream. That's why. He takes half of my 3/4 of my audience without checking with me. I'm just roasted. You know, friends can roast each other. Heathen Wing. I like that. Sarah Riccardi Schwartz is hyphen girl. Heathen Wayne. Heathen Wanker. Right. I like Heathen Wang. I'm open for names. We're gonna make a decision right now. Ethan Gain. Ethan. Ethan Gain. Ethan Payne. Ethan Lane. Heathen Gain. No, that kind of moves.
Eaton gang. Eaton. Eaton Gathan? Eaton. Eaton Gayton? It's kind of hard, actually, to come up with. Heathen gang. I don't think we're going to come up with it. To think they would actually, like, God forbid they ever make that guy a priest. Ethan Drain. That one's pretty. You guys, maybe you weren't here for this. If anybody uses the M or on M word, they're banned. You can't use that. Should we put you out in timeout? Although Mikhail's my friend, so. What is the word? He loves Wang. It's called refreshed. Because it's not muted. You can't say lies on here. Muted implies that it's muted. It's not muted. It's unmuted, and it needs to be refreshed. It's your last chance. It's your last warning. Okay. E loves Wang or Heathen Drain are. This comes up on my newsfeed today. Heathen Drain accused Antiochian Archpriest Father Josiah of unbecoming conduct. After April 16th, Tucker Carlson interviewed leaders seek priestly counsel like ancient Christian emperors. Father Trenham has grown. Okay, so it's going. I'm going to click on that, guys. That's why I told you. He calls me Ananias. My name's not Ananias. Father Deacon Ananias, or Father Ananias, or Deacon Ananias. I don't know who Ananias. Learn words and titles, you idiots. Oh, it's because you don't like authority. You're anti. So all the demon goblin haters of PSA tards and all the. They never call clergy by their title, like. And yet you think you should be listening to 17-year-old furries and Gatheists like weeping
weep and gain. Reactionary politics. Weep and gain, or heathen drain, is a Zionist. And of course yeah. I mean, shame on that if they were if they ordained. I mean, he's just a nasty. That's how you know he's got sugar in his gas tank. I mean, what's so funny is that people always say that, like, the civic sodomites, oh, they're so nice. It's like, they're the nastiest, most vindictive people you'll ever meet. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, kick this guy out of, like, yeah, I'm supposed to call him. Yeah, taking a break after. I guess he hates Rokor. I'm sure he'll come after me for saying, but I don't like that guy's been. Yeah, well, you're a disrespectful little turd. Yeah, I love the Greeks. You're giving Greeks a bad name. What a good thing to say. Leaking brain. I mean, I don't even know how many followers. Like, who takes this guy even seriously? Like, yeah, okay, you're gonna attack me and come after me and say a bunch of lies, and like, I'm not used to that. Like, you're nobody. Like, I don't understand why. Okay, so there's that news. What else should we do? Go through some other news? Somebody says you need to get bullied off this site. Well, this is what problem. These people did not get lickings from their parents or bullied growing up. Notice with all these people, they don't attack enemies. I've never heard any of these people attack the enemies of Orthodoxy. They only attack Orthodox. Like, and good Orthodox. Like Father just, I mean, for crying out loud. Somebody says you sound like an FAGGO. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, well, big comeback. Takes one to know one. What a stupid... Let's just take that principle. I can never make a judgment that somebody's immoral. Why? Because according to this person, making a judgment, a moral judgment, means you are the thing that you... What a childish, stupid... I mean, he looks like a papist, first of all. That's what I love. So the only people that agree with these people are papists. That's what I mean. They team up with the... Alright, this guy's getting a block. Let's see followers. One way you can kind of tell is, like, do I have any people blocked on... Oh, this is verified. Let's do following. Oh! Yes. 1. Well, that's pretty amazing. Only 2. 2 people blocked. I'm going to have a policy. Yeah, this guy is one of the worst. Okay, he's not going to block. He's... Seems like an idiot, but... If you have 2... remember, where 2 or 3 are gathered is my principle. Where 2 or more are gathered, that's when I hold the catechesis like class, right? But I'm gonna do if the same principle in the converse. If 2 or more on your list are people blocked, I have the right to block you. But this guy gets a pass. But what stupid takes one to no one. Well, why can't I actually do a meta statement on that to say that it takes one to no one needs to be no one to make a comment about taking one to no one? Oh! Look out! How many people even follow this? 225. There you go. Oh, we do got a picture. Look at that. You've got to be kidding me. We don't even need AI. There's no way that man is straight. Absolutely not. I'm putting money on it right now. Well, boys, make my priest. Can you believe that? Ew, gross. Alright, that's enough. I'm not going to spend time on any more time on that. I think that's enough. Cardboard. Good. Yeah, I wrestled in high school. That's awesome. On the #1 team in the state. Great sport. Learn to get tough. No, it's not the same guy, Gooster. Hey, just because people act the same doesn't mean they're the same person. What about dipstick? That was like a funny kind of 80s, 90s phrase. All right, moving on. In our news. What? Whoa. Whoa. This can't be real. Where do you see this? Conor McGregor turns to Orthodox Christianity. UFC fighter posts photos of him sitting beside an Orthodox icon prayer corner. And an Orthodox blessing him. Triggering speculation about, dude, that would be awesome. Oh man, that's so cool. Why does that not look like Conor McGregor for some reason? Watch the Papists. That's the other thing we're going to talk about. Papists in full meltdown psychosis mode right now. Icons are Catholic. Sure. It's just Rome's not Catholic. We are. Correct. Oh, here, good. Nice. Well played, Thomas. Thomas McGinn for the win there. Look at your man here. Thomas McGinn. He gives a shout out to 3 hours ago. He gives, let's see, what part of Ireland was my accent there? Is Crispy in there? Where's Crispy? He's the only one that knows. I wish I could do a knacker. I bet Crispy could. From let me pick a good. Okay, so if you don't know, there is a working low class group of people in Ireland. And they're called knackers. I think in England they call them chavs. And they wear tracksuits. Actually, we're going to pull up photos there. We're going to do a whole review of the knacker culture. They live in places like Tallaght on the south side, north side, what would you say, Dublin, Drumconda. No, hold on, I gotta remember Knackerville. Where? I mean, I just always said, like, north side. You go over the river Liffey, and you're moving into Knackerville. Where was... I just never spent any time over there, so I don't even really know the neighborhoods. I don't think I ever, other than going to the airport, went past Drumconda is probably as far north as I'd ever want to go. It's just no reason. Why would I have to go over there? Oh, they have an IKEA on north side. Oh, my brother had married his first wife lived over, oh man, what was the name of that? It was actually a nice area up. It's where the Irish actor, blanking on his name now. Castleknock. There's some nice areas in Castleknock. But we're going to look up knackers. We're going to do a whole posh Southsider. I'd have to do like you know your man like you Conor McGregor like That's Southside posh. Oh, it's funny. I wonder if I have. You gotta see this. This is hilarious. I wonder if I still have this book. It may be packed away, but it's. Hey, Melissa, remember that book, that Irish book? Oh, here it is. Russell Carroll Kelly's. There's a Northern Ireland accent. Guide to South Dublin. How funny is that? Yeah, Crispy cares. I don't care. This is really funny. I gotta find pictures of. Has a bunch of names in here. Architecture. Fox Rock. Dundrum. My wife's, oh yeah, total D4. Stupid posh girls. Classic. But this is kind of just a funny book that makes fun. I remember The Wicked Wolf. That's cool. Gosh, it brings back so many memories looking at these places. All right, we got the whole point of this was not to get distracted, but okay, knackers. What is a? How do we spell that, knacker? It's taken on derogatory. Oh yeah. I forgot about these guys. Remember they actually operated the horse. The horse, like they'd give these horse rides. He's he's smoking a fag right there. That's the. Oh, yeah, he's a knacker for sure. But let me see if I can find. I mean, that guy almost looks kind of like a knacker gypsy. I got it. 1, 2, 3. I didn't realize the audio went out. And you're missing all the best. Alright, let's do it one more time. Window capture. Okay, where was this guy here? You gotta listen to this guy. This guy's a pretty good knacker.
I'm outside your house, and outside your squat, right? But listen to me. See you, Jared. I'm inside your house now, yeah? And my poor daddy, I will kill you stone dead. I'm inside your mother's house. You're not mother's slap.
Your mother's.
I put him to sleep during the night for 2 boxes, and that's my poor daddy. So I wouldn't like what I do to you.
Keep the good man on the bench. Then bam, Bob's your uncle, Mary's your auntie.
Bishop by Bishop.
Look out, pick at the look on the. Yeah, you look out, pick at the look on the little. He's going to pick at the look for his ear.
Here, bud.
Big fair part of the session. Yeah, you look out, pick up.
This is me, Anthony Gillini. You understand me? Put you speak, you dirty shop boy.
Over the left and right.
You're too fast for the camera. You make that?
I don't want to cause trouble in the funeral, because you know you're a little monkey when you walk in. I promise you, you act like a monkey in this funeral and you will not walk out.
He just takes. Knacker takes the horse right into the. Wait, there's 2 of them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, here it is. Here they are. This is.
Almost 1 in 10 has cocaine in their system.
I love cocaine.
All right, knacker, Irish knacker. Let's see if we can find. This is ridiculous, dude. I can't go 2 seconds without it crashing. Funny Irish knacker videos.
What shop?
A knacker Irish fight. There's a good one. Yeah, some of these people are gypsies.
Here, I'll fucking. The only.
I can celebrate my.
What they call travelers. All right, why did we even bring that up? I can't remember. Because I was trying to see what accent, and I was trying to see if I could do a knacker accent, and then I was trying to explain to you what knackers are. Senator Eileen Flynn. Oh, I gotta see. Okay, Senator Eileen. Oh, she's literally got the fake tan. Oh my gosh. Looks like she's standing on the River Liffey here. Let's look real quick. Hopefully my thing won't go out. See the fake tan?
100%. It was the best call I ever got in my life. It was just absolutely amazing. It felt like I was just dreaming. I didn't know what to do, you know. Was I expecting to call?
That's a knacker
I
accent.
wasn't 100% sure because it was up to the Taoiseach. It wasn't up to anybody else. But I do know the three party leaders.
The three party leaders.
That I get the nomination. So for me, as an individual, but for the tribal community, that's phenomenal.
Oh, she's a gypsy.
Party leaders were in agreement that I would get.
Why are there gypsies in? Let's see. All right, I'm done with that. Whoa, yeah. Anyways, that's funny. That's what a knacker. I do believe that's correct. In England, they're called chavs. Of course she's against the protesters. Isn't that funny? You'd think she'd be with them, given her background, but... D.I. higher, yeah. All right, moving on. So they're gonna lose it. Yeah, like they just... I mean, can you imagine being a Roman Catholic now? They just... Poor guys. Jeez. Yeah, and then you got these. Sorry about that. Go cry more. Yeah, she is Catholic. The whole, it didn't imply he wasn't Catholic. What did it say? It's implying that he may be turning to Orthodoxy. Now, I don't know if that's the case. But go cry more. Look at this. Look at this. Subject to the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Another gaytheist. I mean, that's what you just call him at this point. By the way, I find it interesting that here's an argument I came up with. Roman Catholics think numbers prove whatever they want to say. The numbers fallacy. Okay. I got one for you. We're going to find it. Oh, but not those numbers. Bring those numbers up. And they conveniently ignore that. Isn't that interesting? For all you numbers people out there, if numbers prove whatever I want, then... And what do I call that? I call that the all for thee, none for me fallacy. The I'm uniquely immune from the critique that I'm applying to you. So, what is the news the last couple days? That online rad trad online papists are having a full-on psychotic meltdown. They just can't. The facts are coming in more and more that your institution's fake and gray, and they're doubling down, and they're losing it. They're losing their grips on their composure, and the demons are coming out. You know, somebody makes a nice post about Conor McGregor, and look at these. And it's always, I'll make the caveat, I teach at a Roman Catholic college. My colleagues are Roman Catholic. They know my position. They know I critique Roman Catholicism. But they're generally nice people. They're not online. These people, most of these people, I bet, are under 24 years old. How much you want to bet? They are Zoomers. The autistic Zoomers love the papal abstract mental maze, systemization and abstract propositions and ad hoc jungle gym platonic theological game made up in your head. They love it. It's a honeypot for them. And they've constructed an alternative reality in their mind that has lots of twists and turns and secret doors and compartments and, as I said, mazes. And they just, for a autistic Zoomer, they love that kind of stuff. They're just like, look at, whoa. I wonder if these people played role-playing games too. I wonder if there's like a link to autism and role-playing games. Next week, when Dungeons and Dragons causes autism. Hi, I'm Father Deacon Ananias. Fantasy role-playing. Isn't any surprise that autism is on the rise and that autistic Zoomers love this stuff. Now, that's their little fantasy world that they've created, right? With little ad hoc modifications, and it's like add some keys in there and non-falsification principles. That's a good touch there. Remember, just like any fantasy role-playing game, you can make up your in my own rules in my head. That's papism for you. And if, and God forbid, anybody point out what's actually happening in this institution, that it's full of contradictions, system defeaters, and on the ground, it's a fake grade PEDO grooming institution controlled by Zionists and Masons and probably the CIA, and they will double down. God forbid you point out that they're perennialists. Excuse me. And what do they do? When their imaginary theological role-playing Dungeons & Dragons platonic fantasy board game in their mind gets threatened, they begin to unravel. They have the meltdown. They're, oh, ortho bros. Oh, ortho bros. So that problem. Somebody make a meme, right? Where we have like the devil and the demons are like, and I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for those pesky ortho bros. So that's what we're kind of seeing this week. We saw with the Pope Leo. Coming out and with doubling down with his perennialist stuff. And this is what's so funny is that I've identified this before is what's called stalking horse. It's like a political analogy where the hunter stands behind a horse as he stalks the prey, let's say the elk or deer or whatever.
And he gets closer and closer, and he can back off and stuff like that. And he's looking for the opportunity. He's learning about the prey and when he can strike. So this is happening in the papacy, right? They push the envelope and they back off, right? Keep it ambiguous enough to let the online Roman Catholic apologist to be like, well, that's not really what he meant. So we could reinterpret it. It's vague enough language. But it's like the leftoids, right? They bring up something, they're like, well, that's not really, like, it's like, you're gaslighting me. I hate being gaslit. Quit gaslighting me. We all know what's going on. No amount of word wizardry and semantic sorcery is going to get you out of this one. Okay? Then they back off a little bit, the papacy. Then they push a little bit. Well, it's not blessing homosexual marriages. It's just a general blessing for you, see. Like, really? Well, the Pope doesn't really, what is the Skittles priest that they have going around, Father, oh, help me out here. Shoot, I can't believe I just blanked on his name. Father James. Help me out, come on. James Martin? Father James Martin, is that right? Oh, he's not really supporting the... You're gaslighting me. Like, obviously. Father James Martin. Baron's a bishop. It's like Father Moses analogy. It's like you have your buddy who's married and you see the wife out with another man. And you have a conflict. You're like, hey, it doesn't look good. No. You know, that's not what it looks like. It's, you know, she goes out with a lot of people. Well, it was a guy. Well, no, she goes out to lunch by herself. No, she... There's nothing there, like, you know, well, they were holding hands. Well, she's just really friendly and affectionate. You're trying to tell your best friend that she's having an affair. Well, I saw the kissing. Well, she kisses a lot of... It's like... Pope-splaining. Dude, just... Again, and this is what I noticed about heretics... philosophically, theologically, or otherwise, no amount of evidence will get them to concede. Everything's evidence for their position, nothing be evidence against it. That's why on the Cleve stream last night with I said, ask a Roman Catholic what would be a defeater for Roman Catholic. Like, nothing. Like, there's nothing you can... They're like... It's the Church of St. Peter and the keys and the gates of hell won't prevail. Like, there's no position. That's why it's papism. It's not like... The theology doesn't matter. Heresy doesn't matter. It's the worship of the office of the Pope. That's why they had one of their saints, blanking on names today for some reason. Woman kind of stains. I forget her name. Teresa Avila. Even if the Pope's the devil himself, you follow him. I'm like, that sums up papism perfectly. What a fantastic statement. So,
And it gets the stalking horse. It gets closer and closer and more obvious, right? So now we have hold on a second, let me see if this is friend or... I can't ever tell, friend or foe. Followers. Oh. Got a problem here. I've got somebody here. It says Latinized diorite. Now, here's the problem. That looks like a parody account. However, he started saying some nasty stuff to Nicholas Correa. So, I don't know. But I come here, I would definitely be justified. 2 or more. Where 2 or more heretics are gathered, there you must flee and block. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all PSA demons too. 4, 1 following, 1, 2. Oh, yeah, this guy. I think, what do you say? Does he get the block? So how many did I count? He had 4 followers that are blocked. He has 1, 2, 3. This guy was a real piece of work. 4, 5. Ooh, 6. Another, got a papist in there. 6. What say you? Should he be blocked? I love my life has gotten so much better. Yeah, it's St. Teresa, by the way. I hate putting the word saint in there. Teresa Avila. 6 is a lot. I say we block. So he has 6 followers and following 4 blocked. All PSA goblins. Calls out Nicholas Correa. I say yes or no? Yes, let's do it. Block. He said you get crushed if you... And he's following me. Don't like that. Orthodox Latin. But then he reposts Jim Bob. Critique of... Eat and drain. Eat and drain, that's the best. I think that's the best one. Eat and drain. Let me just look through his posts. Sorry, guys are Western right. I can't stand Western right. I know it's legitimate, but I have a feeling they're going to shut it down. It's become more problems than... Yeah, he's Western right. Where do you think a lot of this PSA stuff comes from? Reposting Prime. There's another. He's reposting J. So I don't know. That's a hard one. Friend or foe? That's a hard. This one's a hard one to figure out. Oh, another. I can't read the. Another dumb meme. Donates $19.99. Okay, my friend who's now paralyzed, relearning to what? Wow, lifestyle induced alcohol. He got paralyzed from drinking alcohol. Holy smokes! I pray for him. talk through, but sometimes I don't know what to say. He's angered towards other. Yeah, that's a hard one. I just say this: forgiveness is a release from the memory, from the captivity of the memory of the past. So it's not forget. It's you're being held captive by something. So the question is, do you want to get better? What, like, a lot of people haven't even asked this. What do you want for your life? Do you like where you're at? If so, then you're free. You know what? We're all free to be wrong. That God gives everybody what they want. If you want to say, I want to get better. I want to be more than what I am. I want to be what God intended me to be. Be all you can be, as the Marines say. Then release yourself from captivities. If it's the memory that's holding you captive, forgive. Release yourself. Christ came to release the captives. That's the message I'd give. If you like being, like, if you think that's better, then you know what? You got it, bud. You be you. You go be angry. See how that works out for. But you have a choice. You're free to make a choice. So.
Orthodox Christian, right? And even though I'm learning more about it than I've known beforehand, but explain to us what is that?
He sure does talk funny.
So basically, we believe that it's the ancient form of Christianity that is in league with, in concert with, what the church taught for the first time.
What dat? Orthodat. Orthodat.
Church fathers after the apostles of the first, second, and third century, whether it's Irenaeus or Cyprian or Ignatius or Clement, they all teach the same thing that we teach. And they're the
Jay, why are you wearing a Topanga Canyon hat?
Orthodox Christianity is really maintaining that tradition, but we're noticeably different from Roman Catholicism because we don't have a pope. And we are not Protestant because we do believe in a lot of things that Protestants don't believe in, like the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. We have apostolic succession, we have oral tradition. So all of those things kind of set us apart from both Protestant churches and the Roman Catholic Church.
It seemed to be like a Catholic church.
In ways.
And why do you guys look like a Catholic church in ways?
Well, if you go back to the early church, the first, second, and third century, when the apostles went out and they set up churches, when Paul went on his missionary journeys and set up churches, we believe that he established worship services for the church that are not directly written in Scripture. So there's a tradition of what's called liturgical worship, which is the type of worship that you would see in the Old Testament with David writing psalms. Those psalms that David wrote were meant to be sung and played in the temple liturgy, or after Ezra in the synagogue.
Oh, that's a good one, Jay.
So we think that the apostles, not just Paul, but Peter, who went to Rome, or Mark, who went to Alexandria, that they also crafted for the church liturgies. And when you read, say, Justin Martyr in 150, he describes the worship service of the church in 150 AD, or Irenaeus in 180 AD. Those are early church bishops and saints and martyrs. They describe the worship service like we do in the Orthodox Church. So a lot of those things are elements that are continued out of the ancient Hebrew tradition of the temple and the synagogue worship. So you have things like vestments, you have things like an altar, you have things that would be familiar to people familiar with temple and synagogue worship, but also new elements that Christ established when he came that make it uniquely Christian. So the Lord's Supper, things like that, baptism as part of initiation rite. Like all of those things are uniquely also part of the Orthodox Church, but they have elements that I think are best understood not as pagan Roman accretions or something like that, but things coming out of the ancient Hebrew tradition. So we have vestiments and tradition, things like that.
And do the Orthodox Church get along with the Catholic Church?
Not really. No, we split about 1,000 years ago.
And why?
Well, in the 11th century, the papacy at that time, the Pope, in the Middle Ages, early Middle Ages, he decided in the 1100s
Is this
that
showing
he would
anything?
be the greatest bishop, the head bishop of all the bishops.
The Pope decided.
Did it go black
So
for a
that's
while?
called the
Let me
Gregorian
see what you guys
Reform,
are
so
doing.
the 11th century under Pope Gregory. And then after him, successive Catholic popes, Roman Catholic popes, made more and more grandiose claims about the Church of the West.
Also, did you get
That he would
a
control
chance
the
to
whole
watch
global church? But he also
Val
in 1382,
Orthodoxy
under,
when two
Pope Urban, he claimed that you had to also believe that the Pope was a temporal king.
All y'all should
as well as
watch
the
over
spiritual
here.
church. And this is a document called Unum Sanctum. And in that document, he says, if you do not believe that the Pope is also an earthly, worldly king, you can't be saved. And so these were kind of like gradually moving the Orthodox and the papal church apart. So that's why we haven't got along. Other things too, like certain theological issues, but those are the main issues.
I read that the Catholic Church came about because they wanted to deceive the people and control them for personal gain. And that's why they came about.
Look at Jay's face.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, so the word Catholic just means the universal church or the fullness of truth, right? So we call ourselves as Orthodox, we believe we are the Orthodox Catholic Church. So we're the right believing Catholic Church. And so the word Catholic itself sometimes is associated with us, but also sometimes associated with the Pope. So if you mean, did the papacy or did the Pope by the Middle Ages begin to be this deceptive entity, we would say yes. But we don't think in the first 1,000 years that the Pope was evil per se. There were good and bad bishops throughout the first 1,000 years of Christianity, so many of those popes are saints in the Orthodox Church.
Why did the Pope establish the church when God said, let no man teach you? And so they got this Pope guy, and that's all they do is teach people instead of pointing them back to the teacher.
Well, I think when Jesus says, call no man on earth father, let nobody be your teacher, he's using rhetorical devices of teaching, like cut off your hand if it makes you sin, right? You don't literally cut your hand off, right? So I don't think Jesus is saying no one teaches you, because Paul says to Timothy, I'm your father in the faith, I have taught you, Timothy. So it's not an exclusive statement, it's a rhetorical teaching device. But I do think you're right that there can be situations where humans try to arrogate themselves above the Word of God, for sure.
I noticed that the the Orthodox Church, why they seem to be dark and depressing.
Well, if you go to Orthodox Church, it depends on when and what time. One reason that they're dark is that the church comes out of the Middle Ages when they didn't have electricity, so there are a lot of monastic cathedrals that still don't have lights, so they have candles that light the church. That might be one reason why they're, if you mean literally darker, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Or are you saying like spiritually darker?
Literally dark.
Yeah,
and depressing light.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go to Orthodox liturgy, it's very warm. It's a very inviting. Most people describe it as a very warm experience. So, for example, at Easter or Pascha, we have a service where it's dark, and then at night you light it up. So it gets really light with the candles and everything. So it really just depends on when and what time.
What's the purpose of having services in the dark?
Well, for example, at Pascha, it's a situation where it's dark before the resurrection. So we believe that Christ was resurrected, and then everything lights up. So it's before the world's in darkness, just a symbol of the world being in darkness, and then it lights up super bright when there's the resurrection.
Why and when did you become an Orthodox? What made you decide, instead of being a normal Christian, what made you become an Orthodox?
Well, we think this is normal. If you go the first 1,000 years of Christianity, this is what's normal. So there were no Protestants back then. So this is normal. That is Christianity.
So have you always been Orthodox?
No. To answer your question, I think I became Orthodox 2017. So I was raised Baptist. My family's Baptist.
Yeah.
And
Especially from the South. Especially, I mean, from the South, right? You grew up in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
You have to be a Baptist down there.
Or a charismatic.
Right.
So, I was raised Baptist, and then I started reading the Church Fathers and reading church history and studying how the Bible came together when I was in my 20s. And I put a lot of time into that, and I became Roman Catholic in 2003. So I was Catholic for 10 years, maybe 9 years, somewhere around that. And then I started realizing that there's something wrong with like what the Catholic Church taught after Vatican II in the 60s versus what they taught before it. Because, for example, you have, in the Middle Ages, the Pope would call crusades against the Muslims. Yeah. But then after the 1960s, they're going and praying in the mosques with Muslims. So those things can't be true. The same, like, how are you going to call it a crusade, and how are you going to go pray with them, right? It doesn't make any sense praying in the mosques. So I was just looking for what I thought would be the most authentic version of Christianity that was the Christianity of the first 1,000 years, and so I just eventually found my way to Orthodoxy. So that's since 2017.
Were your parents disappointed?
No, I mean, my mom's always been supportive of my religious studies and journey, so she wasn't critical of it at all. My dad's not in good health, but he didn't care.
Oh, okay. And so how did it help you personally to become an Orthodox? How were you helped by that?
I think that the Orthodox Church, since I believe it's the true church, I think that it has the grace and the power that I was looking for in a lot of these other groups to actually change you. So I've seen in my life since being Orthodox almost 10 years, maybe 9 years now, a lot of hopefully improvement. I mean, there's a lot of areas I've still got to work on, but I've seen a lot of passions, a lot of them. You talk about emotions a lot. I've seen a lot of that being overcome. We stress in the Orthodox Church that you need to be dispassionate, meaning not ruled by your emotions and your passions. That's a big part of Orthodox spirituality.
Somebody asked that in last night's stream. Is it a sin to be ruled by your emotions? Yeah.
I mean, I still fall into getting angry at times.
Watch this is crazy.
Sure, yeah, sometimes.
You get angry at times.
Yeah, at times.
But let me ask, do you cry over Mother Mary on Friday nights?
I don't cry over her, but we believe we did.
But your church do cry over Mary on Friday nights, right?
No, what?
No.
That doesn't happen?
No.
Oh, y'all cry over Jesus dying on Friday nights.
I mean, there in an Easter service during the week, there are certain services building up to Easter where you do fast, and we do like the canon of St. Andrew, which is repentance, and you can and perhaps should cry over your sin in those situations, but we don't cry over Mary, no.
But you cry over Jesus' death, that he died on the cross.
I mean, at a certain time, but then you have to rejoice when
not
the resurrection.
everybody cries. It's not like now everybody on the count of 10 start crying. That's in the canons. Crying. They were a lost council called the crying canons.
Represent the gospel every year, so you kind of live through his life, death, and resurrection every year.
Every year you relive it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you cry over Jesus?
That's such a weird thing to ask.
And you could you could be moved to cry over, a sermon or something like about the death of Christ. But I mean, we celebrate. Let me put it this way: we celebrate the resurrection more than we are crying and mourning. If that's what you're asking.
Right. But just from my understanding,
sure.
So you do cry. You have cried over Jesus' death, right?
I'm sure at some point, yeah.
And what were you crying about? Why cry over that?
I would say
emotional. Profound.
What time of my life you're asking about? I mean, it would probably be just related to the fact that our sins are what resulted in Christ willingly going to die on the cross. So it would be a reflection of some form of repentance, I think.
Oh, I see. I'm black and slow, so I'll take a little bit.
I'm BIPOC too. I identify as black. So that way I get away with a lot more.
That's why you were late.
Well, I'm on my own BIPOC time.
You identify as black.
That's crazy. Jay's always late. That's amazing.
When I show up is when it's on time, right?
That's right.
I've never figured that out.
What's the purpose of crying over Jesus?
What is this obsession with
When
crying?
Jesus is not dead.
Because
Why keep going through that?
well, again, that'd be like saying, well, why would you read the gospel of his birth when he's in heaven now? It's because the whole message of the Bible always has an eternal meaning and significance.
Black tears.
That's why every year the Orthodox Church represents the entire life and death and resurrection
about him, Jesse.
because it's an eternal thing that you keep learning from. There's always something to learn from.
Well, he didn't want us to die over his death. He wanted us to rejoice. Why? I mean, he didn't want us to cry over his death. He wanted us to rejoice.
This is what I find interesting about, I mean, I wouldn't classify him as a Protestant, but in one sense, Protestants be very emotional, and then they get weird about why would you show emotions at a, like, the most profound cosmic event ever? It's like,
Repent. That's not something that just happens once. You got to live your life. Paul says, I have to keep buffeting my body. I must run the course.
thanks, another $4.99 from another meme. It was nice. Jay came and visited a church for possibly wonderful. People of the chocolate persuasion.
We're always asking for forgiveness. If you look at David's psalm, David was constantly asking for forgiveness.
And so you're going to be crying every year for the rest of your life?
I don't was of the crying thing. Jay doesn't cry. Jay Crier. Let's put that in the.
Do y'all make up the tears or you think about Jesus is dead? I can't believe it.
I mean, it would be.
How do you spell crier?
We think
Crier.
We're not doing it to show everybody else I'm crying.
Right.
It's,
So you really feel
Is that how you
sad
spell
about
crier?
Jesus on the cross.
well, if I have a hardened heart, or if I'm in a worldly mindset, I might not be moved at all. So, I think the idea is that we want to be as close to Christ as we can, and if you're moved, then you would do that. But if you're not moved, you're not going to like fake it and be an actor or
So
something.
what makes you cry? Thinking about his death? Is it thinking about his death that makes you
Cry.
cry?
That's not how you spell crier.
Or the preaching about his death, or the music, or is it the whole thing?
Again, I think that the purpose would be that you realize the gravity of your sin, and so you want to turn from the sin. So, like, to give you an example, you asked about, so during Lent, which is preparation for...
How do I spell crying? What?
fasting and
I'm
whatnot
totally
before
retarded.
The culmination.
Crying.
You
Crier.
put that stuff over your head, the black.
That's the
Cry.
Catholic thing we do.
Oh, okay.
But,
All right.
that's just to signify that you
Right.
are dust of dust, to dust you return. Again, and so we would say that Christ, as the Son of God, willingly took on death at the cross so that we could participate in his life to overcome our sins. But the overcoming of the passions and the sins is, for most people, a lifelong process. So, like, if I
Oh, I can't
angry
spell
at
today,
my
so I don't know what to tell you
last
guys.
month, and the preacher, the priest gives a homily, and that moves me, and he talks about the death of Christ. Like, I might be moved to repent because I know.
Yeah,
that
Jesse's
my
emotionless.
resulted in the death of Christ. So that's.
Mary, Mother Mary.
Uh-huh.
I was told that
It's weird.
the Orthodox believe
Mother Mary.
that Mother Mary, and I want to say it, I think how I heard it,
Mhm.
that Mother Mary is waiting somewhere up there.
Way
so
up
that
there.
when you die, she's gonna meet you somewhere between there and heaven, and she's gonna take your body over to.
Where is he?
Is that true?
I've never heard that.
You never heard that?
No, not Orthodox view.
What have you heard about Mary and the dead body?
What?
I may be saying it wrong.
Well, I mean, in our view, Mary is in heaven, and we believe that she is up there with Christ because she was his mother, right? And so we think that the saints that are in heaven, they're not divorced from us. They are in our.
What's nice about Jade, like his whole opening thing about Orthodox too, that
If you go to Orthodox,
it's really concise and approachable.
Sunday liturgy to the.
Well, Jay's got really good, concise, and approachable answers.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They're not
When he looks up into heaven,
convoluted, confusing academic
altar and incense and vestments, we think
harangues like me, is what I'm trying to say.
it's the same thing for us. So we believe Mary is not apart from us, but that she participates in the same service and that she prays for the church on earth. So we're not crying for Mary, or she's not taking bodies somewhere. She's just praying for us. She ain't stealing bodies.
And so, have you read in the Bible that Mary was interceding for you? For you all? Have you read that in the Bible that Mary is interceding for you?
Yes. So the answer would be, if you look at Hebrews 11, and you look at Revelation 12, and you look at Revelation 5, 6, 7, 8, you can see that the saints are in heaven. They're praying for the saints on earth, the church on earth. They intercede and they offer the prayers of God, the prayers of the saints to God. And we're all one heavenly family according to Hebrews 11. So yes.
Good. And that's why you came up with this idea that Mary is praying for you from those.
Well, yes,
What is?
But it's not just from those passages. It's also ancient Jewish belief before Christianity came. They believed
What's
that
DKK? Is that Danish crone?
Amos, for example, prays.
I don't even know what that means.
Israel, and God says, because you
Somebody purchased. It looks like.
destroy Israel, even
Where
though
does it
I was
say? I
with
can
you,
usually
and you not
see.
prayed, I would have. So we would say the prayer of a righteous man availeth much, as James says.
When
So
people
saints
purchase
in heaven,
tickets for MontaNika, I can
they're
usually
more
see
righteous
where.
than we are, 'cause they're in the presence of God. Their prayers availeth much. So if I can ask my mom or my wife to pray for me, no different than asking a righteous man or a righteous saint to pray for me.
That's amazing. Why y'all make Mary was important. She had Jesus. So I'm not.
Unless that's a donation that came in from one of.
Mary so important when
Is
Jesus
this for a
told Mary
MontaNika
to sit
ticket,
down and be quiet.
or is it a
If
donation?
you had been praying or seeking the Father, you would have known what I was doing. Why he yelled at her if she was so important, and he told her to sit down.
Well, I didn't say yelled at her.
That must be a donation from one of you in the chat. I'm assuming.
He didn't make her that important. Why have you guys made Mary so important?
Well, at
Is
that
that-
passage, he also says, "It is not my time yet; it's not my revealing." So a lot of things that were later to be
Let me
revealed,
see.
we believe, were not yet revealed.
Right.
So not everything has come to fruition. And he also didn't want the apostles, for
What
whatever reason,
is-
at that time, knowing exactly what he was up to. Probably because they weren't able yet to handle it. Because he says also in the Gospels, "I have many things to say to you, but you're not able to handle it yet." So there's a perfect time for those things to
It's got to be
come
Danish.
to be revealed. So we believe in what's called typology, which is the idea that there's a lot of things in the Old Testament that are
Danish crown, got it.
foreshadowing what would come in the New Testament. And one of those things is the idea that
How much
also
is?
the Ark of the Covenant. So in the Old Testament, you have the Ark of the Covenant. You have God's law inside of that. That's Emmanuel, God with us, the presence of God amongst the Jews. And we believe that when Jesus went down into becoming incarnate in the world,
Okay, it's
he chose her as a new Ark of the Covenant.
It's just a
from the
tip
Old Testament Ark of the
from our
Covenant.
friends in Denmark.
She spends the Ark of the
Jake-
Covenant spends 3
Jake
months
Cryer.
in the hill country of Judea.
So I spelled Cryer right.
Spends 3 months in the hill country of
CYRE.
Zechariah and Elizabeth.
CRYER.
The Shekinah, the glory cloud, would overshadow the Ark of the Covenant, and then you have the Holy Spirit overshadowing Mary. So there's a parallel between these two things that we think Mary is the fulfillment of all those things, and that's why in Revelation 12 you see Mary presented as the Queen of Heaven, we believe.
That's amazing. Isn't that like amazing? It's so interesting.
I didn't know I was going to be. It's a theology. I mean, it's fine. It's just I didn't know what to expect today. But
And the reason I ask that because nowhere in the scriptures where Jesus outrightly made Mary a big deal. You know, he barely mentioned her, and yet she has been turned into a saint, and you
Turned
pray to
into.
her,
Oh,
and you
it's a
worship her.
terrible
That's
Christian.
kinda odd and
Worship-
interesting to
see?
me. That's why I wonder how that came about.
well, but if you, I don't know what you believe about the New Testament, but we believe that Jesus is the one that inspired all the New Testament. So if the Book of Revelation presents her in chapter 12 as Queen of Heaven, that's also Jesus saying she's the Queen of Heaven. So it's not like Jesus has to say it in red letters or something.
That's amazing. One other quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do your church, Orthodox religion, believe that Jesus was God or the Son of God?
He's both.
Both, yeah.
Because the word God can be used in different senses and different references. So, for example, the Old Testament in the burning bush, when God says, I am that I am in Exodus 3:14, if you go over to Exodus 23, a few chapters later, God says about the angel that spoke in the bush, he says, that angel, that messenger, can forgive your sins, or he may not forgive your sins, and I have put my divine name of Yahweh in him. So the name of God, Yahweh, is given also to this angel messenger in the Old Testament. That's not just that passage. You have, for example, in Gideon, or in Judges 6, it says that Yahweh, the Lord, stood next to Gideon and turned his face to Gideon. And if you read John chapter 5 through 9, Jesus says to the Pharisees, nobody ever saw the Father in the Old Testament.
Right.
And yet we have a lot of these passages in the Old Testament where it is said that they saw God face to face, like Moses saw God face to face on the mountain, or Gideon saw God face to face. So for the Orthodox Church, these are called theophanies, or divine manifestations in the Old Testament. So point being, summary of all that is, if Jesus says no man can see the Father at any time, then who is this face of Yahweh that is called God, that forgives sins, that is worshipped throughout the Old Testament? Well, Jesus is arguing to the Pharisees, that's him. That's why he says, before Abraham was, I am. The same statement as Exodus 3 about the burning bush. So Jesus is the Son of the Father, but he has the same nature as the Father because he's also God.
That's amazing. Nowhere in the Bible, anywhere where Jesus said himself that I am God.
Yes, he does.
Everywhere in the Bible, he said, I'm the Son of God.
Yeah, he doesn't.
My Father's in heaven. My Father sent me. My Father.
So sons have a different nature than fathers. So I have a turtle nature, even though my dad has a human nature. See, here's how.
It's my Father in me. My Father and I.
He never says, don't worship me.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No. When he goes to he says, put your hand in my side, right?
Right.
And he says, my Lord and my God.
Right. But he wasn't talking about himself.
No, it's the apostle saying that to Jesus. Right. Thomas is saying, my Lord and my God.
But Jesus never said him. Other people said things about him, but nowhere in the Bible where he said, I am God.
Before Abraham was, I am.
Right, but he still didn't say he was God.
What's I am?
That he did exist.
What is I am, though?
Because he is. I am is meaning he's whole, he's one person.
No, it's from Exodus 3.
He existed.
Exodus 3, where God says, I am that I am.
Right.
And then in John, Jesus is saying, before
Abraham
was, I am.
I know, but you still nowhere where you're going to find where Jesus said, I am God. And I
yes, he does. He says he claims equality with God.
And they put all these words together, and they make it sound like what they wanted to sound like. But Jesus was clear that he was his son. He and the Father, one, the Father in him, and he and the Father. And so he made that very clear. But the teachers, the preachers, and others, they put all these words together. And so you believe Jesus.
So in John 17, he says to the disciples, he says, I came to give you a share in the glory that I had with the Father before the foundation of the world.
Right.
So does he have God's uncreated glory?
Yes.
Before the foundation of the world?
Yes.
Okay,
then yeah.
He was one with God before the foundation of the world.
Then he's uncreated. Before the world is creation. What a moron, dude.
He came from the
well, he's not God the Father, but God can have a son.
Right.
Right.
He does have a son.
He's uncreated.
He can be worshipped.
Very God of very God.
And he's the creator of the world.
But he didn't want to be worshipped because he knew the weakness of human minds, and human beings are always looking for somebody to worship. And so he did not want to be worshipped. I remember when he rode into town on the donkey. One of the reasons that he rode in on the donkey because he wanted to be known that I'm just a son of God. I'm not God, so don't be worshiping me. I'm just like everybody else.
But the word God...
But the people worship him anyway.
Okay.
Like they do with Mary.
If I have a son and he would have my nature, right?
Right.
About that human nature, right?
Absolutely.
So do you think that he's the son of the Father? Do you think the Father's uncreated?
He would be your son, created in your image.
Right.
So he wouldn't be the Father.
Right, I agree. But
likewise with
Jesus is right, but I'm saying if Jesus shares his Father's nature, do you think the Father's nature is uncreated?
Uncreated? What do you mean by that?
Does God have a beginning? Was he created or is he eternal?
He's eternal.
Okay. So his nature is uncreated, it's not created.
Right.
And so would his son not have the same nature?
100%. You would
Then
have it.
Jesus isn't a creature.
I'm sorry?
Then the Son of God is not a creature, he's eternal just like the Father.
Right, just like the Father.
Well then he's
But
then
it
he's,
didn't make
then he's
him God.
eternally
I
God.
understand how people want to see that he's God. I understand what you mean.
You just said
but,
that he is.
But he's not God.
You just said that he is.
He had the eternal nature of the Father.
Then he's God.
And why do you say that?
You just said it.
No, I didn't.
You just said he has the divine
has
nature.
the Father's nature, but he.
That means he's divine.
I don't know what you were saying about that, but do you believe he has a Father?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a Father, right? Mm-hmm. Then how could he be God? Are you saying he's God because he had the Father nature?
The word God, yes.
Oh, okay.
The word God can pick out a person or a nature. And so the Father is God. But if he has a son with the same nature, then the word God can also pick out the son, and it can also pick out the nature that they share. Just like the Holy Spirit has the same nature.
That's amazing. So let me ask. Do you believe that you are the only begotten Son of God? That you are?
No, I'm not described that way. We're described as sons by adoption. He's the son by nature. So if you read John 1, it says that even when he was in the flesh walking around with us, it says that he was in the bosom of the Father at the same time. So I'm a son by adoption. He's a son by nature.
So you don't believe you're the only begotten Son of God?
Jesus is the only begotten Son. We who are Christians who believe in him are sons by adoption, not by nature, by grace.
Do you believe you can do greater works than what Jesus did?
Well, he says that in the Gospels, meaning that the apostles will be able to do way more than he does because there'll be many of them, whereas he was at one space and one time.
So you don't believe you can do greater works than what Christ did?
Not specifically, no.
He said you could. Why don't you believe that? You believe all that stuff about Mary and everything?
Well, Mary is going on and she's deified. I'm not deified.
So why can't you do greater works though? He said you can. He's like, don't worship me.
But did you hear what I said? He never says don't worship me.
Yeah.
Where?
In the Bible, he's like,
where exactly?
You can do than what I'm doing.
Okay, but
would God ever tell you that you could do greater works than him?
Because he chose to be in one place and one time, walking around in Capernaum and Bethsaida and Jerusalem. He's saying to the apostles, because as many of you will be able to go out and do many good works. That's what he means. He's not saying.
That's not what he said.
Well, if you want to combine it with the rest of the scriptures to make it make sense, that's what he has to mean. Because he's not saying that a human being that's a creature can do greater than the Son of God. That's absurd. Jesus is the creator. Hebrews 1 says he is the creator of the world.
That's amazing.
So how could a creature be greater than the creator?
So let me ask, because of time, because I want to move on to some stuff. You believe in God? You believe in God?
Sure.
And you said you have anger. You believe in God. Why do you still have anger?
Well, what's the name of your show?
This show here? The Fallen State.
We're all in a fallen state. So as long as we're in this life, we're still going to be liable to sins, passions, and temptations. So at times, all of us, we believe, still fall into sins. We're not perfect in this life.
But Christ said that all of your sins have been forgiven and wiped away. Why do you believe you still have them?
Well, you can still sin, because he even says, even though you've been forgiven, if you don't forgive your brother, it will be accounted against you. So you still can sin and not be forgiven.
And do you forgive your brothers? Why do you hold on to anger rather than just dropping it and be done with it? Because anger is evil. There's no love. It's the nature of the devil. And anyone that has anger is of the devil. How can you serve God and the devil?
Well, what I said was, at times a person can give in to the temptation to be angry. I didn't say that I hold anger right now. So for us, if you look at James, James says that sin when it gives birth to.
This is kind of fun, huh? Being in.
a
Let me tune into the chat, see what you guys are saying.
Having a temptation to be evil, to be angry or something like that is sin. But sin is when you consent to something evil with your will. So everybody still, we would say, still has sin. John
Turn up the volume on the video.
He has no sin. He's a liar. So we all still sin.
And so sin is of the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sin means that anyone that has anger is evil, and they judge.
Are you a real priest? What kind of question is that?
And that's what
Friend or foe? That's what I'm gonna ask. Friend or foe?
As long as you play God, you can never know God. You know about Him. You have ideas, but ideas about God is not knowing God or Christ.
Well,
why not drop your
crying is not Christian, guys. Who is this person in here?
Okay, first of all, Jesus says to judge.
Let's do this here. Let's ask you a question, and then I'll answer.
Judge when you have the same sin.
Friend, are you friend or foe?
Again, David says, "Be angry and sin not." So it's not always wrong merely to have anger.
Another dumb mean 499. Oh boy, Jesse's about to do. Did you forgive your mama?
If you were to hate your brother or something like that, and it's not righteous anger, then that's a sin. But sin is not a state of being. It's not. It's an action.
So is your heart of evil or love?
Again, it's not.
Oh, you're in the chat.
Everybody's liable to. If you have.
Oh, I was laughing because
that you consent to, but
stuff that Tristan was saying.
Evil doesn't have being.
Do you believe that it's possible to have perfect peace
And
while you live?
I was asking people. There was some type of Muslim argument in there that it was like,
even small sins.
If Jesus is God, when he prays the Father, is he talking to himself? And I made a joke.
With qualification, I don't know what you mean by perfect peace. Do you mean like perfect sinlessness?
I made a joke that, well, if I'm talking to people of the same nature as me, human nature, doesn't mean I'm talking to myself. And the people, that's why I wasn't laughing at Jay. I'm Jay Dyer, a CIA handler. I mean, how could I obviously be...
Why don't you have it all the time, no matter what happens?
We're in the fallen state.
But Christ said you can have it. Because he said any person
That's
with
weird
anger,
for a father.
He said man being a woman too.
To laugh
Any
at
person with anger is
heretics' bad
evil.
arguments.
And you should not trust an angry person.
Deacons are priests. They're in the priesthood. They're not the priest, as we typically refer to the presbyter, but...
It's in there over here. Okay. And so if he said that anyone that has anger is a murderer, then you should not trust an angry person.
But I guess you don't know me. Like, I am the master spammer, troller of heretics. I have the best apologetics defending the Orthodox faith by mocking heretics.
Have you read where he said that?
Yeah, clergy, yeah, there's secret canons of you discovered clergy are not allowed to have humor.
No, I've never read that.
You gotta read it.
Well, John says in 1 John that if you hate your brother, you're a murderer in your heart. And Jesus says anyone who's angry with his brother without a cause is liable to the judgment. So that's the Beatitudes. So I'm not sure what you're referring to.
That's amazing.
But all priests are different. Like, I mean, that some people have humor, some are introverted. So I mean, so I don't.
Sure.
Doesn't make any sense to say weird.
Why you pause?
Because it's a bizarre question.
It is.
Yeah.
Why is that a bizarre question?
It's bizarre because I've never been asked that question, and I'm also trying to figure out what you mean by it. So.
Oh, okay. And so, if you can have perfect peace on earth while you live, you would accept it.
So Jesse thinks that he doesn't sin. He doesn't have any sin. It's crazy. So there's somebody else that thinks that too.
Ever again be affected by anything or anyone? Would you have?
I mean, how delusional you have to think to be like, I'm actually perfected myself and I don't sin.
You're not sure?
This is a weird question.
What?
Never be affected by anyone. So, like my wife, like if she kisses me or like I don't feel any affection.
Yeah, he seems to be promoting some sort of stoicism.
Anyone for any reason at any time. So would you have perfect peace, accept perfect peace?
Perfect peace isn't being a rock. That's not a stoic rock.
I guess.
You're not sure? You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Oh, so you really don't want perfect peace then?
There's ambiguity in the terms.
What's
So I don't know what you mean.
I'm black. What is ambiguity?
But I'm black and slow too because I identify as that. I get away with more. So
what does that mean?
what is what?
Ambiguity.
It's unclear.
Oh,
It's vague.
you want me to make it clear? Okay. If you
Hamburg.
Well, repeating the words isn't going to make it clear. I understand the words, but the words are vague. So when you say perfect peace and then you say nothing would affect you, like, well, I want some things to affect me. Like I want to be able to feel emotions towards my wife or towards my friend. Because emotions are good. They're not bad.
There's nothing good about emotions.
Well, then why?
Wow, that's crazy. Nothing good about. He's a Stoic.
All angry people have emotions. They're very emotional. They're up one day and down one day. They're happy one day and they're up.
You just gotta laugh at this stuff.
Did God create
They
everything?
love you one day and then they hate you one day. That's not from God. That's not love.
Okay, but do you think God created everything?
Love's an emotion.
Okay, then he
Or can have an emotional element to it. It's not an emotion. I should correct myself.
And emotions come from Satan.
But you said God created everything.
Emotions.
How do you know you get emotion?
Well, that's everything.
Well, his God's love is a dispassionate love. It's a non-emotional love.
What does this guy talk? Can't answer.
It's an emotional love.
If there's nothing to, if it's a bad question, why is it wrong to be like, I can't answer a question that's malformed or a category error, or if it's ambiguous?
In our view, it's not always wrong to be angry, but to be angry without cause is what is the sin.
That's what they teach in their church.
That's what you teach. No, that's what they teach us in the CIA camp.
Passions that are evil, but it's when they give birth to sin that makes them evil. That's our view.
So if you can have perfect peace right now and never
Perfect
get angry
peace.
again, speak up into your life and never get angry. No one can make you feel.
He's a Stoic. I had no idea he was an Epicurean or not Epicurean. Epictetus. He's an Epictetian.
There's a sale going on at Sears. I want to get this hat over at Sears. You're like, no, we can't afford that hat. And then I love you.
What? Oh, my wife's been watching this in the other room. She's laughing.
Would you want a life where however she had or anyone had, it wouldn't bother you?
Well, do you want? What?
What?
The women at the gates of hell. That's what you say.
We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. That's a good question. But would you like to live a life? Would you want to live a life where you can be controlled like that?
Who is this guy, Chris?
But would you want to be a life where you would be controlled like that?
Again, I think, I recognize that human beings can do emotional manipulation, but that's different from saying that every emotion is inherently evil. That's why I disagree.
Well, they can do it if you were not an emotional man and you only had perfect love. They could not manipulate you.
Saying that emotions have a place does not make me emotional. So that's a false equivalence.
What do you mean by that?
It's two different things.
What do you mean by that?
Think about sexual attraction, right? It's not inherently wrong to be sexually attracted to a woman, but if I act on that outside of what God lays down, that's when it's bad. But it's not the desire itself that's bad.
That's amazing. So let me ask you.
That's amazing.
That's fine.
Does your wife obey you?
Yeah.
She obey you?
Sure.
And how did you get her to be obedient? For me, is that
emotional manipulation.
Emotions. That's a good one, Jay. I like that.
What would you suggest to those men? How did you get your wife to become obedient to you?
I think that she respects me because I, most of the time,
identify as a black man.
Should. So she wants a man.
That's how you do it.
Who's, intelligent, who can run a business, who's able to be a leader, and so she is more willing to defer to my authority.
Is Jamie in the chat too?
If I was a beta, as you say, beta. If I was a beta, it would be a lot harder for me to try to get her to take my lead, but so I think just if you just be a man, and I agree with you to not be led by your emotions, and then a woman will typically tend to follow you. You got to be strong. You got to be
consistent,
and not be beta.
How do you deal with the hell in her when it comes out?
The hell?
The hell in her?
Yeah.
That's actually fine.
I mean, well, Peter says, you know, when he writes his epistle, he says that men be patient with wives because they're the weaker vessel. So I think every human being is fallen, and men have a temptation to be.
Jamie's in the chat. Jamie, I can't see you. Where are you?
Women have a temptation to be usurping the man's role. So that's the temptation to the woman.
Am I blind? Yes, don't answer that. But where is Jamie? Can you see Jamie in the chat?
Counteract that, you gotta be vigilant and be patient.
So when the hell comes out of her,
when the hell comes out,
why she's going crazy, and you go, what the? And you just let her act out until she get past it. What are the guys who are dealing with it? Do you just let her act out her craziness until she get past it? You don't overreact to it.
I think if you're a guy, the best thing to do in a situation where you're in a heated confrontation with your wife is to probably try to leave the situation, let things diffuse, come back in 2 or 3 hours. And actually in the Orthodox Church, this is something that we, like, I do a lot of debates, so I get into a lot of heated confrontations with atheists and Muslims and all kinds of people. And most of the people who give me advice, because we always have checks and balances with other clergy, they always say,
when the hell come out?
Not to immediately react to these situations.
I forgive my mother. I cry and I cry. Do you forgive your mother?
Diffuse, and then you can come back and you have your reasoning powers back. If you get all wrapped up in emotions, you're going to act.
Yeah. Well, you definitely shouldn't overreact to it at all.
And that's why I'm saying if you step away,
right,
let it diffuse.
Amazing. One other quick thing about God, and you made me think of this when you asked me about the gates of hell. What made you ask me about the gates of hell? Because the woman's at the gates of hell.
It was just a funny line that you had in the Jamie Kennedy podcast.
Oh.
And you said, women at the gates of hell. And he said, he said, bruh, it's aggressive. Do you remember that? He said it's aggressive.
Yeah. So, do you agree with me or disagree that the God above is the man's God and the God below, Satan, is a woman's God?
What?
That's Gnostic.
That's what?
That's Gnosticism.
That's nasty?
Not nasty. Now.
You said that's nasty? Why do you think of that way all of a sudden?
That's the teaching of some of the Gnostic sects of the early first century.
What's that?
Or Manichaeanism. It's heresy.
What's a Gnostic?
The idea that that women are somehow of the devil, but men are of God. That's false. God created them both.
So Gnostic is another religion?
Yeah.
Oh, I think somebody else mentioned something like that, but I've never really heard of that.
Probably.
At all. But so you disagree?
Yes.
And why you disagree? Other than it being Gnostic, why do you disagree?
Are you guys having a hard time hearing it? Did somebody mention something that with? Let me check on that.
The Manichaean beliefs are dualistic, and they're just simply they would reduce to nonsense. I mean, if God created man and woman, how could the woman somehow be satanic, but the man, because they both fell?
Long story short, remember when Eve went grocery shopping?
What?
She went shopping for dinner.
What? Okay. I don't remember this.
Yeah, she was out in the garden shopping.
Okay.
And while she was shopping, Satan came by, and he saw her out there. He's like, "Hey, Eve, how you doing?
Right.
How are you? Good to see you, Eve."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Right on, good to see you. How's Adam?" He asked. And he said, "Oh, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Tell him I said hello."
Uh-huh.
And so when Eve went home, she said to Adam, "I saw Satan today, and he asked me to say you hello."
Okay.
And Adam said to Eve, "Stay away from the devil. Do not have anything to do with him at all."
Well, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
No.
And then
That's not what
Eve said, "Okay," because at that time she obeyed her husband. who obey his father. So the three were one. They loved one. Eve loved her husband, who loved his father, and it was just nothing but love in the air, right? God's love. And then one day, long story short, she went back again to the market to get some.
Is he a woman here? I mean, what? I don't get it.
And she ready to sing again. And he was like, hello, how you doing, fine? And he asked, are you still with that guy? And she's like, yeah, I love my husband. I obey my husband. My husband loved his father, and we're doing just fine. But he said to her, she had seen it before. You know, I'm faster.
Yeah.
I'm going faster.
Gotcha.
And then he said, why do you keep listening to that man? He listened to his father. He's not even his own man. He listened to the father. Why are you listening to this guy who listened to someone else? His father. You could be your own woman. You could be a leader. You could be your own woman. You could take your bra off. You could do your thing. And she's like, really? He's like, yeah. And she believed Satan when he told her that. And the moment she believed Satan, she no longer believed her husband. The relationship fell apart because Satan had become her God in that moment. She took on the nature of Satan. That's why women are so angry and controlling and emotional.
Well, but Paul says...
And then, hold on a minute, I'll make it short.
Okay.
So she became like her father, the devil. She no longer obeyed her husband. And then, after a time period, she finally said to admit...
after a period?
A time period, that too. But after a while, she convinced Adam that he could be his own man. And why you listen to your daddy? Because now her nature, her mindset and emotions are the devil. And she's like, why you believe your daddy? Don't let your daddy control you. Be your own man. And after telling him that for so long, he's like, you right.
Hi, big boy.
I can be my own man. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to listen to him anymore. And now, Adam no longer believed his father God. He took on the nature of evil. Eve, which was the nature of Satan.
What do you want?
And emotional and all that stuff. And so, one day, God was like looking for Adam. Adam, come on, we're going to go fishing today. And he went looking for Adam, and he was with Eve. And he's like, Adam, what have you done? He's like, well, I listened to the woman. And I'm no longer listening to you now. I listen to the woman who listened to the serpent. And the woman became his God. Satan became the woman's God, and the woman became the man's God. And that's why women control men until they overcome the nature of the woman. The woman is his God, and men don't know what to do with the devil in her. And so now, but thank God Christ came and restored us so we could go back to the Father. Salvation is about a return to the Father. And now men are subject to the woman because they have not overcome her until he overcome his mother. So
that's why. Do you forgive your mother?
I understand.
Until she forgive and return to the Father.
I understand the story that you told.
Right.
But it's the opposite of what Paul says.
What did Paul say?
Paul says Eve was deceived, but Adam transgressed.
Maybe. He did because he listened to the woman. He listened to the hell that's in the woman, Satan.
But they're both fallen, and it doesn't mean that the woman's God is Satan, and then that it's just all mixed up.
Yeah. Why do you think the hell come through the woman?
I don't know what that means.
Angry, controlling, emotional.
Every human being is susceptible to that.
Doubtful and want to control everything.
But it's not from a woman.
Yes, it is.
No,
it's not her, but it's the nature that's in her.
But as a man, those are temptations that I have because I'm a fallen human being. It's not because of my mom that I have those temptations.
Have you forgiven your mother?
I knew it.
You told her?
Yeah.
What did you say to her?
But what does that have to do with whether or not?
Because if you have not forgiven her, you have your mother's nature. And every
a mother's nature.
It's the spirit of your mother because you hate.
Okay, where did you get all these ideas? Because these are out there.
It's in the Word.
No.
All by yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Read,
This is your creed.
Oh, no. Read Genesis. It's all in there.
Well, I've read Genesis. But
There's no way.
Interpretation. Where did that come from? I'm curious.
From Genesis.
Nobody told you that.
From the Talmud, maybe?
No. A what? A
From the Talmud?
No, the Christian Bible.
Okay.
Read Genesis for yourself. You'll see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And when you forgive your mother for turning against your father and imposing her will on you,
What in the world, dude? Is this the strangest?
Let me just say this first. Traumatizing you when you forgive her because she couldn't help herself. Her mother did it to her.
Look at this
Even
guy.
when your wife,
This guy right here.
forgive our mothers who couldn't
Yeah,
help
good
themselves,
boy.
their mother did it to them.
That's
And
Jasper.
also from generation to generation,
That's
she would
Jasper.
forgive, then God
Say
would
hi.
forgive you, and He would change you. He would change
Hi.
from the nature of Satan. He would change your heart from hate to love, and then you.
No,
would
you
love
sit over
with
there.
all your heart, soul, and mind, and then love everybody the way that with the love that God loves you. But you gotta forgive
Bizarro.
your father. Your mother for not.
Your mother.
Your father for not protecting you from her. He couldn't help it because he married his.
Do you
brother.
hate your mother nature in you?
Does this happen to you?
Yeah, it happened to every human being on the planet.
Okay, but
What Jay?
when you read the Bible, did that resonate with you because that was your experience growing up? Is that what I'm saying?
No, I read the Bible because I'm allowed to see it.
What Jay should have asked is,
You have to forgive.
I know you said you read that in the Bible. My question would be, did anybody else say something like that to you? Nobody would just read the Bible, and somebody would have to actually tell you something.
Read Genesis and let me know what you think because I'm trying. Read Genesis and then let me know. That's not true.
Okay.
And forgive your mother. Hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help yourself.
Where you?
and
Oh,
I'm
he's in the suitcase now.
thanking you.
Good boy. You gonna go for a trip?
Do you know who Yakub is?
Who?
Yakub.
No.
Do you
I don't
think?
know what
Do
that
you
is.
think God is Yakub?
Yakub?
Yeah.
Is that a black name?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Do you think he was a black guy that
No.
created us? No. Okay.
You think he black?
Well, I mean, you know about Yakub. You don't know about Yakub? You never heard that?
No.
Okay. You should look into that.
Is he a black person?
Hmm?
Do you think God is black?
Yakub is.
Are you joking?
No.
No. Are you white or Jewish?
Me? I don't know my DNA. I might be Jewish. What
So
do you
do you think God? Are you joking? I can't tell if you're joking or not.
Well, I'm trying to figure out because a lot of what you said kind of sounds like it resonates with the teaching of Yakub because he created us in a certain way, and it sounds like that kind of a story. Like Yakub created white people as an experiment, and what you're saying kind of sounds in the same vein of the way you would read Genesis. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh no, I
But
don't.
you're not familiar with that?
Not at all. Not zero. So then, are you into politics?
To a degree.
Did you vote for the Great White Hope?
Donald Trump?
Yes. See? Some
Or
people.
are you talking about Kamala?
Some people.
You're talking about Kamala.
Some people call him amazing, right? What
You do.
manner of man is this? The wind and the sea obeys him.
Donald Trump.
Some people call him king, and they hold rallies.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Other than the king.
Hindu people thought he was God. like
And
a
some people
deity.
call him daddy,
Yeah.
but I call him the Great White Hope.
Okay.
Did you vote for him?
I
I'll
did.
give you a
I'm
second.
voting for Trump.
What do you think about the work he's doing now? What do you think about how is he doing?
I would give him
under your skin,
a B minus to a C.
Meaning what? Why so low?
Warp speed was a failure. That was nonsense. The Iran war was contrary to what he campaigned on. Those are the two big ones that come to, and then not releasing all the Epstein files after saying that he wanted to. Those are the three things that come to mind. Those are big failures.
And so because you disagree with those three things, you only give him a B minus?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because those are pretty big things.
What does he have to do to get back up to an A? Because in the beginning you gave him an A, right? Before he when he first started.
When he came in this round, he started off strong. The second round.
Notice how we haven't had,
Now he's kind of trouble.
God forbid, but any audio problems.
And won't be over
It's
to
weird.
the fat lady scenes.
True.
So
That's Kamala.
you got that's right. What a mess, huh? Thank God we didn't get hurt.
I know, right?
What a mess. Just hold on. You're gonna see some amazing things coming.
And what makes you say that?
because
QAnon.
Donald Trump is of love, real love, and love don't fail.
Okay.
So don't worry. You're going to be smiling and you're going to give him an A back.
Okay.
All right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
And then what about after the Trump? Like,
I know.
you know what I mean?
I don't know. I have a wait and see. You're right about that. I sometimes think about that, but I have a wait and see about that.
Okay.
Yeah. See what's going to happen. I'm just trying to see what's happening now and never now.
Okay.
But I know what you mean. That has crossed my mind too. But I have a wait and see about it. So are you happy that he's deported the aliens?
Yeah, but it's not like it needs to be. It needs to be more.
Need more?
And also, we need no immigration. I think we don't need any more people.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. 100%. We don't need
Yeah, no more.
back door integration or front door.
Exactly.
I totally agree, man.
We got enough people.
We had enough. What do you think about the fact that white people, and especially white men, are the most hated species in their own country?
We're our own species now.
It's an interesting struggle because I first encountered that in college. When I went to college as an undergrad, I had a lot of crazy leftist professors. And the weirdest part was when I had an advisor. He was an older white dude, and even he was a crazy liberal guy, but he said, I'm going to tell you right now, if you try to go into academia being a professor as a straight white male, they're not going to want you. And he told me that.
It's a miracle that I made
So
it, huh?
that kind of soured me on academia.
Yeah.
So I felt it before. I think a lot of people did, like in the normal workforce. You know what I mean? Like people who go to 9-to-5 job and they have an HR person that's pushing the DEI stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt it a little bit before other people did in academia. But I think it's crazy, but it's by design. I think
It is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
by design.
And what is it like being discriminated against? I tell people, white people are under genocide right now in America.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't seem to realize it,
Right.
but they are under genocide. What is it like being treated this way in your own country? Because it was for white people to be.
All right, you guys can go check that out. We've been streaming for a while. I have to 3 hours and 36 minutes. That was a good stream. Let me just see. Did I miss any super chats that I didn't read? Yeah, we got 499. Oh boy, Jesse's about to do Did You Forget Your Mama? All right, you can throw in one more super chat if you want. Otherwise, we'll depart. We covered a lot of stuff. I'm tired for the reason. A blessed, bright Friday. My thanks and prayers to all of you, and for your support. I had a good class last night as well, Orthodox class, and any other questions before we go? How long has Jim Bob been going on for? Let's look at Jim Bob's.
Popularity is.
Oh, funny. He's doing. You want to do a meta? We'll do. Okay, watch this.
Basically recursive and necessary and inescapable. So then you just keep. Well, if we agree on that.
Well, so Jim Bob was doing the same thing that I was. Now we're doing a analysis of Jim Bob doing an analysis of
the ultimate. Now, the atheists just call them axioms, but then we could just have an axiom that God exists and they can't refute it. So it's like
how long has he been
happens
going
all the
for?
time in debates. They're like, no, we just call them axioms. We're like, okay, cool,
Oh,
I have
2
an
hours.
axiom, God exists. It's a problem. What seems to be a problem, officer?
No, when Jesus crucifixion, when Jesus is not dead.
Because
Why keep going through that?
well, again, that'd be like saying, well, why would you read the gospel of his birth when he's in heaven now? It's because the whole message of the Bible always has an eternal meaning and significance. So that's why every year the Orthodox Church represents the entire life and death and resurrection of Christ. Because it's an eternal thing you keep learning from. There's always something to learn from.
But he didn't want us to die over his death. He wanted us to rejoice. Why? I mean, he didn't want us to cry over his death.
Jim Bob, how do
He
you
wanted us
get
to
black and
rejoice.
white?
To give you an example, you asked about, so during Lent,
We get into
This idea that Mary is praying for.
Oh, he's maybe behind.
we'll say that to Jesus.
Right.
Thomas is saying, my Lord and my God.
But Jesus never said him.
Oh, so that's what he started from the beginning.
But nowhere in the Bible where he said, I am God.
He said, "I'm the truth and the way." How could a human creature be the truth ontologically? The truth.
Has anybody ever done this?
How could the word that existed before all creation, through which all was created, how could that being, person, not be God?
All right. You guys can go raid Jim Bob. Although he's behind in you might want to wait 10 minutes. Because he's behind. No. Good question. Greg. Unbaptized inquirer can say the creed. You confess it. Like, do you believe it? I believe. That's great. Nick 499. Have a great day, FDA. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Jim Bob doesn't believe in having melanin. That's funny. Okay, God bless you guys. Thank you so much. If I'm getting all my work done, maybe we'll do nightly Nous tonight. So play some music or something. All right. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Until next time, bye-bye.